Lord knows I want to be like Jean-Claude Van Damme. All right, everybody, welcome to episode 128 of the SuperHouse Podcast. This is Andrew coming in from Los Angeles, and I have Joey here.
Hey.
And this week we have a very special guest once again. Our guest this week is a practical effects artist named Eric Fiedler. He is a mad scientist animatronics guy now, but has worn a lot of different hats over the years. He has done special effects work for films such as The Abyss, Monster Squad, Predator, Attack the Block, Sandlot, Mortal Kombat, Goonies, Anaconda, some Atari commercials, just to name a few. He has been a hairdresser, mold maker, puppeteer, lab tech, and animatronic supervisor throughout his career. You'll see just how crazy this dude is. Welcome to SuperHouse, Eric.
Oh, thank you. Did I do that? Awesome, man.
So let's get right into it.
So you tell me how you want to go down this road. You lead. I'll follow. And then I'll tell you stories that I have, but they're good ones. What I was going to tell you, I'll just go over it with you now, for instance.
Sure.
Tom Berman, he got me started. So
okay.
I'll just go through it really quick and just say, well, I started
get a little closer to the mic.
Oh, I'll just say that I...
Sorry, everybody makes that mistake.
He gave me my first break. I worked for him for free for a while with a bunch of great people.
You were a hairdresser, I heard at first?
Yep.
So...
We're not recording now, though.
Yeah, we are.
Oh. And there you go. Yeah, that's the rumor. I was a hairdresser prior to getting into the film industry, and people go, what? That doesn't make any sense. But it makes perfect sense because I liked costuming, and I liked Halloween, and I liked 4th of July. I liked all kinds of effects stuff. I liked all that. So I was a hairdresser, met my wife in hair school, and for Halloween, we get all decked out, and I'd stipple latex on me and all this kind of stuff. And it wasn't until I read an article in LA Magazine about Tom Berman and about Dick Smith and Rob Bottin were all featured in this right around the time of The Howling.
Okay.
And so I wanted to do this. I tried to call Rob Bottin. I think I got his number. I would leave phone. No one would ever call me back. I'd leave phone, answer machine stuff. And no one would call me back.
Bottin's a little mysterious, right?
He was, yeah. And this was way early.
Mm-hmm.
And so nothing happened. But the Tom Berman picture, in the background was his studio. And there was a sign that said Berman Studio. And it had the address and phone number on it. I said, hot damn. So I gave him a call. He was really nice. I said, hey, could I come down and just observe what you're doing?
Mm-hmm.
See how that, how it is? And he goes, sure, but give a call first. And then we'll, see if it's okay.
And what year was this? Around roundabouts?
Boy, about 82.
Okay.
And they were doing Cat People at the time with Nastasha Kinski.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would go on my day off, Monday. That's what hairdressers get, Mondays off. And I'd go down there and just watch what they did. And Lance Anderson was there. And that's Dave Anderson, Academy Award winner's dad. Lance is a great guy. I've been on a lot of shows with him. Rob Berman was there. Tom Berman, Sandy Berman. This guy Frank Carasosa was there. He's a makeup artist who did Dances with Wolves. Was the key makeup for Costner. And then Steve Laporte was there, another makeup artist. And I just go around the shop and just ask him questions and look at it. Then go home. And then screw up our apartment, Leslie and my apartment, get clay all over the place in the carpet, screw up the patio, and bring it back and then get critiqued on what I did.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd say, I can obviously tell your stone is too wet, and you don't have any sisal fiber in there, any hemp. And I go, what's hemp? I have no idea what this is. So he'd give me a little wad of hemp, and I'd go home. And so that's how I got in. Well, I didn't. That's not how I got in. Then I went to Tom, and I said, hey, Tom, I want to do this. How do I do it? And he says, well, you can start as an intern, and we don't pay you, but come on in and start. And I go, well, when can I start? And he goes, well, we got a show starting right about now. And that was Space Hunter, Adventures in the Forbidden Zone in 3D with Molly Ringwald and Michael Ironside.
The name is awesome.
Yeah.
I love the name. I've never seen the movie, but
it's not that great. And that's a button from it, a little 3D button that they gave us all.
Nice.
I didn't get to go to set. It was filmed in Canada.
Okay.
But I got to make a bunch of cool stuff for it.
That's cool.
Sheet foam fabrication, some fat suits for that show. It was really fun. That was a good one.
The movie is not that good, though.
Oh, not necessarily, no. No, it's pretty interesting.
Not even as a bad sci-fi flick? Like
as a bad sci-fi flick, I'm sure a lot of people love it. It was right around the genre of when Mad Max came out.
Oh, okay.
So Mad Max started this whole apocalyptic make stuff out of old iron and bent stuff and all that kind of stuff. And it was kind of that
in
kind
that
of
spirit.
feel. Yeah, it was totally in that spirit. Very interesting. And Michael Ironside had these big claws, and he was in a crane that would move him around, and they would have people fight. And it was just Mad Max, like Thunderdome, Mad Max, a whole bunch of things put together. It's pretty interesting.
So you did hair and fat suits and all kinds of stuff for this?
So I did hair for that. Tom let me do all kinds of stuff. He let me sculpt. I sculpted one of the fat heads. They didn't use it, of course, because I didn't know what I was doing. But I did lay all the hair on them. I got to paint them. Sheet foam fabricated that. And that's what I got coined as, was a sheet foam fabricator in the very beginning.
Okay.
So that's how I started. That's how I got in the film industry, and then it kind of bounced from here to there.
But so you're mainly known for animatronics now, correct?
Yeah.
So this is jumping ahead a little bit, but you go from like kind of sheet foam fabrication to animatronics, or
I walked a big long walk, and I think it's really good. I did sheet foam fabrication, then I would do, and I got kind of coined for that in the beginning, and then I would be a mold maker. And I love making molds. To me, making molds is like Zen work. It's really good. And this is all stone stuff. This is before they had silicone.
Okay.
Yeah. We had this stuff called Tuffy, Black Tuffy, and Gray Stretchy. And they were 3-component sulfur-based urethane, I think. I don't even know what they were. They were horrible. They may or may not go off. Okay. They were notorious for just like, finding their way out of a mold like silicone and never curing. And so I was a mold maker, so I made stone molds. And then I would be casting. I did a lot of casting out of those molds. And then I did rigging. I'd rig effects and stuff like that. And then that all progressed into making animatronics. And the animatronics came, I think the first thing we did was Highway to Hell.
Okay. Which
I did some hands that would grab. They were handcuffs. Get the joke. And they were connected together by something, and then they were cable operated, and it would come up and the hand would open, and then it would come down to whoever's arm it was, and then the hand would grab onto them, and then they would take the other hand and it would grab onto the end of the inside of the cop car, and that was first mechanical thing.
Did you have any experience with this kind of stuff at all? You ever study electrician work or anything like that?
Well, I grew up on a horse ranch, so we always had to fix stuff.
Okay.
I always had to take care of my own car. My dad would teach me how to do whatever. And you just basically did a lot of fixing and had a natural inclination to how mechanical things worked, by working around, with stuff, cars, chainsaws, mini bikes, go-karts, whatever.
So that came pretty naturally.
And of course, RC planes. I used to make RC planes a lot, so it all fit together.
And you prefer that the most now? That's what you're sticking with?
I love that. Yeah. Absolutely. I love it because you get to make things come to life, and you get to move it on camera. You get to make it perform and do something. And when everything is just right and it all looks good, it's amazing. And when it isn't,
That's awesome. What's the you probably get asked this a lot, but like what's the work you're most proud of so far?
Oh, the nicest piece. Wow. Well,
not necessarily best movie, just a singular piece.
Yeah. I think the NTI from The Abyss was really pretty awesome. It was practical. It was clear. It worked in water. It had fiber optics going through it. It was fluid. It was beautiful. It did exactly what it was supposed to do for the movie before CG.
Yeah.
And I love that piece. And that was really fun. There are a couple great things about that. When we were making that work, we were over at DreamQuest. They were doing the visual effects. Hoyt Yateman is the head over there. He was doing all the visual effects. A couple of cool things. So the way that we had to make the NTI move back and forth like a butterfly was you had it on a pole, and you literally had to move it in the water, and that caused the oscillation. And the way to make this thing move that we had to explain to Jim Cameron was it was on the end of a pole, and that pole would oscillate. And we had bungee cords kind of suspending that pole. And Cameron said, I want it to oscillate just like you're doing, but I want it to be absolutely still in the frame. It can't move down and up and forward and back.
Oh.
And we're going, Now, this is how I know Jim Cameron's a freaking genius. This is exactly how I know. He took our rig. Okay, how do I describe it for the radio people? He made a gantry where our rig was on one end of it, suspended by the bungee cords. In the middle to this, let's call it rock and roll truss. In the middle of it was a chain hooked to the ceiling, to the perms. And on the other end was a basket with the camera in it.
Oh.
So no matter where we moved the NTI in the frame, the orientation to the camera was always in the center.
That's amazing.
And he went like, there it was, in a second. And I just going, fuck, brilliant. That guy's a fucking genius. I don't care I don't care if this guy blows his top or does anything. This guy knows his stuff. He was on it, on point. So that was amazing. So we did that stuff for all these individual stuff, and where the actor Ed Harris, they made a puppet of Ed Harris, and we connected him, and it was a marionette puppet, and it was oh my goodness, who was that? No, he's an old fave. Well, I'd have to look it up. He's one of the great puppeteers. Of course, I don't know who it is. Nonetheless, made this beautiful puppet, and we hooked it to our NTI, and we did all these like swimming down this tunnel stuff, and they would say, okay, make them go up and make them go down and bank to the left. Now everybody bank to the right. You know, it was kind of funny. And then when they comped that together with this tubular stuff, it was freaking beautiful. It was really nice.
How was it working with James Cameron in general? I mean, like positive overall?
Oh, everything. Yeah, everything was really good with him. There was one interesting... never mind.
That's too interesting for this podcast?
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
It's all good.
Sounds a little spicy.
Yeah, it could be. No, it's great. He's really good. I liked working with him. He knew his shots. He edited. He knew what was going on. Yeah, he's awesome.
Let's go back more towards the beginning here. So you said you did the last live cast for Vincent Price?
I'm pretty sure we did the last live cast on Vincent Price. That was Bill Forsh and myself were working with Steve Johnson and Todd Masters on, what was that? Hold on a second. It was, I have to find it here.
By the way, what he's going through here is he has done the most preparation out of any interviewee that I've ever interviewed before. I had my own preparation, and then he sent me this email, 3 pages of stuff to go over, and really took a load off of me.
Now I remember what it was. It was a movie with Treat Williams and Joe Piscopo called Dead Heat.
Okay.
And Vincent Price was the nemesis guy, and they had him in there, and it was so great. He had to come in because there was I don't know if it was a death of him, a death mass, something happened to him, and so we did a live cast of him, and there he is. Here's Vincent Price, 70-some years old, back in the 80s, coming into a shop, And we were two things we were afraid of: doing the life cast on him, that we're going to kill him. And then the other thing we were afraid of is, what if we killed? I mean,
don't kill Vincent Price.
We can't kill Vincent Price. Yeah, we were afraid maybe we'd kill this guy. You know, he's frail. He was very old, and his skin was so soft and so, had some age to it that we wanted to get a really good live cast of him without everything just really draping down. So we had to do a real thin, real nice live cast. It came out great. Matter of fact, if you see an old Vincent Price, it's probably the one we did. They're going around. There's a copy around.
They kept the mold?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, you hang on to that one.
Absolutely. Someone put out a few casts. Oh, here's a story. Speaking, let's talk live casting stories.
Yeah,
okay,
let's do it.
Live casting starts out. Okay, let's go back all the way before I was still a hairstylist, and I had a friend, Patrick Trowbridge. And Patrick Trowbridge actually is one of the inspirations for me doing what I do. He wanted to be a makeup artist. He wanted to be special effects makeup artist. He'd come over, showed me this book, and it was one of those old stage makeups. And he goes, I want to do a live cast of me. And I go, okay. And he goes, we have to use melange, this stuff. And he goes, well, here it is. We take plaster and we put it on my face. And I said, this says melange. It says you heat the melange in water and then you apply it and then you put plaster over that. And he goes, no, we're just going to put plaster on my face. Okay. And you know how it's going to end up. The plaster stuck to his eyebrows and to his mustache. And we had to reach in around the side and cut carefully his mustache and eyebrows off. And then there's a picture somewhere in our house of me standing with Patrick and this broken in half life cast plaster of him. And blood was in there. It was horrible. Geez. But
that's gross, man.
But everybody's done a great live cast. But the live casting story, oh no, now what happened? What'd I do? I got off track. But that was a good start. Let's look at that.
Back to the list.
Yeah, let me take that. Oh.
You said, okay, so in this same section here, you got Stephen King's live cast.
Yeah, that was a great one. I'll tell you that one. Let's just, best live casting story. I just lost it. That was so bad of me. Okay, Stephen King. There was a TV show, The Shining. You talked about it with Joe Caldwell. And we did a lot of effects for that. And so Stephen King's in there. He's a band orchestrator, had to do the makeup. Joe was putting the pipes up his pants. He told you about that in the last episode. Yeah. So they need a live cast of him. So they flew me to Bangor, Maine. One person, Bangor, Maine, with a black trunk full of all the supplies.
Stephen King wouldn't come out here?
No, he doesn't fly.
Not at all?
No.
He'll take a train?
I guess. 3 days on
I did not
6
know
days.
that.
No, he will not fly.
Wow.
And he wouldn't. And so, yeah, he travels in his he had a Jeep at the time. And so they flew me to Bangor, Maine, to do a live cast on Stephen King in his house. Now, everybody says blood red house. He's got this blood red house in Bangor. He does. It's 2-story, beautiful, big fence all the way around it, like the Addams Family.
Oh.
And he takes me in the house, and it was amazing. Okay, first of all, I'm not a reader. I'm not a Stephen King fan. And I think he appreciated that because I wasn't totally squidding out, going, slipping in my own ink.
Yeah.
And so we're at his house. There's his kitchen. It's got dishes in the sink. He says, hey, this is the manuscript. And what was it for? I think it was for The Stand.
Oh, shit.
And it was about that thick. I'm saying about 6 inches thick because no one knows what that thick is on the on a radio.
Yeah.
I was like 6 inches thick. They were going to edit it and look at it and go through it. And I go, oh, that's great. Whatever. Okay, this is my pool. And it had an indoor pool. We set up the live cast there. And he goes away for a while. He comes back. It's all set up. And he goes, wow, that's amazing. Look how you... So we were sitting there cracking jokes and just talking about anything. And I did a live cast of him right there in his house. It was very neat. And I think his favorite room in the house, it was very interesting, was this room that was like filled with pillows. It was only about, it's like this. It was about 12 by 12. Filled with pillows. Had a big TV in the corner and lots of videotapes. And I think he and his wife would just crash out there and just watch movies all the time.
Wow.
He goes, and then he pointed out to me. He goes, this is where we watch movies, my wife and I. It was very cool.
Wow.
And then, now here's the funny thing. I go to Maine. I'm thinking, oh, man. This is Maine. I love lobster. I want to eat something delicious. Now, here's where I made my mistake. I go to Steven and go, hey, Steven, what's your favorite restaurant in town? He goes, and he gave me the name of the place. I forget what it was. It was just not too far from your hotel. So I walked to this place, and it was the world's largest buffet.
Oh, shit.
With more fried food than I'd ever seen. And there were people, and it was cheap as dirt. And there were people with mountains of food, like they were storing up for the winter, I swear, eating there. And I think his favorite part, probably, I'm just going to guess, it had the world's largest ice cream sundae bar I'd ever seen.
Oh.
So I'm figuring.
Is he a known sweet tooth?
I don't know. But I'm just guessing that was really a feature on this place. You know, they had all the sprinkles and everything, and all the pumps, so you could pump all the flavors, hot, cold, whatever. Strawberries, cherries. No one cared. You paid your $5.
Was it actually good, though, or was it just kind of regular buffet food?
It was okay.
It was not
good
great.
Food. It was, you got a lot for your buck.
You had to go because Stephen King told you to go there.
I know. Well, I thought I was going to get a steak and a lobster.
Yeah, it was just a buffet.
No, it was a buffet. That's just his favorite place.
So whenever he does like an interview in New York or something, because I see him on the Colbert Show and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I guess he's taking a train down there, huh?
I guess he would have to take the train.
Like 2 days or
something.
Maybe one full day or something like that. Yeah.
Or maybe, you know what, that kind of thing. You don't think they'd have a driver for him?
Probably.
How long would it take to get that far? 8 hours, 6 hours?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe it is just like one kind of like
long
luxury SUV or something.
Absolutely.
Something like that. So who's Tom and Sandy? Why is this on your list?
Oh, that's Tom and Sandy Berman. I just wanted to make sure I knew everybody who was at the shop when I worked there for the first time.
You have like a full list of people's
exactly
people here. So you have some FBI stories?
Oh, yeah. Tom.
What's going on with the FBI?
Okay, so that's cool. When I would work with Tom,
this is already sounding good.
I loved working with Tom. He also told me this story about how John Chambers and he would be called, or John would be called by the FBI or the CIA or whoever, and said, we got to get this guy or lady out of this building and no one can detect it.
Oh.
We have to disguise them. And you're a professional makeup artist, so disguise them. And so they would go in with a suitcase, check into the hotel.
They don't know anything about what's going on with these people that need to be disguised?
They know they're working for the CIA. They don't know who this person may or may not be. They didn't even tell me. Maybe he was sworn to secrecy to this day.
Holy shit, man.
He would never tell me who the person was that they were moving. Maybe they didn't know. Who knows? They would go to a room next to it, and he said they have a connecting door. Then they'd go into that room in case everything's being watched. Who knows? And they'd make them up. They'd bring in fat suits and padding and wigs and beards and whatever they had. Clothing that would go with it, and they would totally change the person and walk them right out the front door. And so I a lot of stories I hear from Tom, and they were great stories. And I'm a new guy. I'm thinking, well, it could be true, could not be true. I don't know. Then I watched the movie Argo, and that was about getting some people out of Iran.
Right.
And in that movie, Tom Goodman played
John Goodman,
excuse me.
Yeah.
Played John Chambers. And I go, holy shit, the stories are true. I can't believe it. Because they brought John Chambers in to make these people up, to get them out, which I thought was pretty amazing.
That's great.
So it was all true. And Tom was great. I love that guy.
Are we going to have people knocking on my door for releasing this episode?
No, because
is this declassified?
No, yeah, maybe. We'll find out. I'm always concerned about that.
Okay.
Well, they're doing the same thing right now in Boston. There's a mob boss in Boston. And what they're doing is they're disguising the witnesses so they don't get popped, And they even said which I can't believe, that's a real covert thing to do. They said on the internet, oh yeah, they brought some Hollywood makeup artists in to disguise these people so they can be on the stand and testify, but no one will know who they are.
Right. So
yeah, I guess they do it all the time, and that's what we're part of. Makeup.
That's amazing.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, I got one for you.
Yeah.
Which
Take
one?
it away.
Okay.
So I'm just going down the list, man. So we're done with mermaids and FBI.
Okay.
What about Goonies?
Goonies, very cool. I got an opportunity because of foam fabricating, and I was a good foam fabricator. I worked with this costumer guy, Dick Lamotte, and he gave me a bunch of opportunities to work on, a bunch of small films, and then he got to be the costumer on the Goonies, and he called me in, and I go, sure, what are you going to do? So we did all the costumes and all the bones and all the skeletons for One-Eyed Willie, Chester Copperpot, all the skeletons that you saw in there, and we aged them all, or I aged them all with a couple of people. Star Higgins, who is a scenic, she was one of the people helping me, and we aged all these bones, and it was pretty cool. And we did One-Eyed Willie's eye, filled that in with some Bondo, and then smoothed it out. And then there are 3 sutures on the skull that intersect. If you look at them on a real skull, you can see 3 sutures: one in the skull, one across the bridge of the nose, and one in the zygomatic on the cheek. And if you make them, they all intersect right where your eye goes. So I made little sutures. You'll see it just for a second. Freeze frame that on video, if you will. And so I made all the skeletons, and they liked it a lot. Dick Donner liked the paint job so much that he asked me to go and paint the bone organ. Now, here's the funny thing. This is really interesting because all those bones on that bone organ, except for the whale bones, and I think there's some tusks, all the bones are real human bones.
Oh, shit.
All the bones for the skeletons in on the pirate ship and Chester Copperpot were real bones. Very shortly after that, and they were all female, and they all came from India. And the story is, we don't ever get those anymore. You can't bring them in. They're outlawed because people were offing women in India for their bones and selling them to these, what is it called where you...
Like human trafficking? Or no, that's
they're
already dead.
They're dead. They're killing them for their bones and then selling them. And stripping them and then putting them in as a skeleton frame and wiring them up and then selling them to Carolina Biological.
So that might have happened with the people in the Goonies. Some of the skeletons there.
Yeah. I have a feeling. Yeah.
Holy shit, man.
Our department had 25 skeletons. I don't know how many skeletons it took to do the bone organ.
This was common practice at this time? This was not just the Goonies, I take it?
No. This was, you call Carolina Biological and you buy a box for $125. Human life, $125. You get a box of skeletons.
Right.
And then we take them and we, age them down, rub them out. Hey,
why make them when you can just buy real ones?
Yeah. Well, now you can't get them anymore.
Yeah,
now they're all plastic copies of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they were all female. It's pretty interesting. But the part I remember about that was it was a union show. And I was in the sculptors union, plasters and cement masons, 755.
Is that still around?
Oh, yeah, 755. Okay. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And
forgive my ignorance.
No, that's okay. And because they were so tight, the unions were like, hey, man, that's our department.
Right.
They snuck me in at night to paint the bone organ.
Oh, shit.
So I'd go in there with some work lights, and they'd come back and see that it was partly painted. And I mean, I think it took like a week for me to go up there and do all this. And they would see it partly painted. They'd say, who's doing this? This guy's moonlighting. He's working on another show. They made up some lie for me. And then I'd come in and paint every night, and then that was it. But the coolest thing is I got to show it to Dick Donner. I had to be there and say, well, what do you think?
Right.
They were filming the wishing well scene because the wishing well set, the log set, and the bone organ set were all attached. So literally they could almost pan up to the hole that went to the bone organ to get all those stuff and change some angles here. But it made it really convenient for them to film. So I'm there watching Corey Feldman, and it was Sean Astin who said the lines, down here, this is our time, down here, up there is their time, up there. So, and it was just fun to see that. And then also I got to see Corey Feldman go, this is my dream, and I'm taking it back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those are, I'm getting goosebumps just saying that, because I was just standing off set waiting for lunch to go over. At lunch, we show him the other bone organ. But I got to see all that being shot.
You knew this was going to be a hit when you were doing it?
Absolutely not.
Really?
Had no idea. I never know. Matter of fact, I'm probably the worst at guessing what's a good movie.
I was going to ask you that next, because Joe Caldwell told me that he sort of has he says after doing it for so many years, he has like the sixth sense about it while working on things, but you don't have that.
I have nothing like that. I'm surprised.
I can tell you from a trailer.
Yeah, I have no. Yeah, exactly. Hey, the whole movie was in the trailer.
Yeah, basically. I can tell you from line one.
But I watched the Goonies again just yesterday.
Oh, nice.
And that whole sequence, why that works is how it was edited. Chris Columbus wrote that movie.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that whole thing was edited was just like boom, boom, boom. It just started rolling up to the pirate ship after they got into the restaurant. And there are just so many cool things that it's a kid's adventure, you know?
Right.
It's a frickin' treasure hunt.
Right.
It's great. I didn't know that. You know, I hadn't read the script. I just saw bits and pieces.
The script could be floating around back then, right, before the internet? I remember. I heard stories about that.
It could be, yeah.
Like, to the makeup department and everything. But now, super secrecy on everything.
Yeah, the way, oh my gosh. This last project we worked at Fractured on, I didn't get a script.
Nobody did except for the bosses, man.
The bosses, when it came to the bosses, it came so encrypted that you actually had to hold a cursor on your mouse on the screen for it to illuminate it.
Yeah, yeah.
And then if you stopped holding the cursor, it would go black again.
Yeah.
And of course, everything has your name water stamped across every page. So that's how they are now.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can you give me a copy of one of those?
yeah, right, with my name on it.
Yeah.
Not with
That'd be fascinating to see.
Yeah, I got
That sounds
two.
fascinating, Eric.
No.
Wow.
That's hilarious.
So there's dead Indian women all over the Goonies.
Oh, I got to tell you this. Yeah, I got to tell you this. So here's
Heard it here first, folks.
So in the old days, I haven't seen one lately ever, because their films they used to have screenings for a cast and crew.
Yeah.
Not an opening, not one of those.
Not a red carpet.
Not a red carpet, a screening. So Goonies had a screening, and here, this I saved. I save everything.
Oh, nice.
And
man.
Leslie tucks it away. And this is the actual ticket that they sent with you, or sent to you for the invitation for the screening. And it was the Sam Goldwyn Theater on Wilshire Boulevard. But this is the best thing. So I got to see that pirate ship. That is the most amazing thing I ever saw. It was 3/4 of a pirate ship. That whole front side was real. There was no painting in. There was no matte painting.
Oh, wow.
That whole thing was real. The treasure room, that was all real. The coins in that treasure room back then in 82, 83. Oh, excuse me. Here it is, 85.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Back in 85, 84, all that treasure was real plated gold, custom-made stamped metal coins.
Nice.
And everybody who worked on the film, in the envelope, got some of that treasure.
He is now holding some Goonies coins.
No!
Shaking them.
Oh, man.
Those are the Goonie coins.
You are hearing them here.
Here they are.
Wow.
And so everybody on the crew got coins from the treasure
That's
room,
awesome, dude.
which is
Kudos to Spielberg and company for doing that. That sounds awesome.
Oh yeah, totally.
Get some photos, Andrew.
Oh, I will.
Oh, so
if he'll let me.
Awesome. Oh, of course.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I got a press kit here from the Goonies. I didn't know.
Man, press kit.
I was just saving it. So I got the entire, I'm showing that.
This looks amazing. So this is like a big manila envelope,
That
thick,
says-
full of...
says Warner Brothers in the upper left corner, and the lower left corner says the Goonies in their logo. And there's all the cast on
Oh,
a
my
photo.
God.
That's one of the pictures. And it's just loaded with all these pictures from the movie. This is the press kit, and you could get them even if you worked on it. And you know, There it is.
It's incredible. It's a bunch of black and white photos. These are behind-the-scenes shots. Yeah.
Yeah, so these are all the press kits.
Cool.
So you can put them on the website.
That's awesome.
And
man.
it's just unbelievably cool. So we could get those. They'd hand them out like they were now. I don't think you can get that stuff.
Nothing.
As a person.
You won't get anything.
No. Yeah. You get sued for stealing a picture on your phone.
Why'd they stop cast and crew? Just because of privacy and stuff?
I think expense.
Oh, really?
I mean, okay, here's the funny thing. People, yeah, that was a big theater.
Mm-hmm.
And they had to rent that out and the whole cast and crew down. Then they'd have a party afterwards.
Right.
You know, food and everybody cheers. And the cast would actually show up who was available.
Right.
Which was very cool. So my wife and I went to this, Leslie, and we're walking out after the cast and crew. And we're holding hands, and it's kind of a foggy LA night on Wilshire, and some guy is walking towards us, and Leslie squeezes my hand so tight, I go, "What?" She goes, "That's Clint Eastwood." And I go, "You're kidding." She goes, "No, that's Clint Eastwood." And I turn around, and sure shit, you could tell by the silhouette, there's a street light in the back.
Yeah.
You could tell by the silhouette. He walks to the curb, a car pulls up, black car, door opens, he gets in. Off he goes. It was freaking Clint Eastwood watching the Goonies.
That's awesome.
That's
fucking sweet.
And
Wow,
me, I'm
that was
just
a really
totally
good movie.
starstruck about anybody. But she said that, and I didn't really see him. She goes, "That's Clint Eastwood." So
really
that
felt
was really
young.
cool. Yeah, awesome.
How'd you get into all this anyway? I mean, always not the hairdresser stuff, but like the movies you watched growing up. But you were like, I love this movie, so I want to go into this business. Like, what was the trigger here?
I'll tell you when it started. It's when I could. Well, oh God, it probably started real early, but Star Trek on TV and the Wild Wild West. I love that. And when I was a little kid, about 4 years old, in the back of a car watching at the drive-in theater, I saw James Bond. I saw Goldfinger.
Okay.
I wanted to be that. To me, all that stuff and the table and the moved and the gas and the airplanes. And I loved that. I just liked that fantasy of that stuff. I wanted an attaché case just like the one into Russia with Love,
Right.
with the coins and the camera and the gun and the gas bomb, and I wanted all that. And I got those toys at the store, so that started it. Then, when I was 16 and could drive and go to the movies, I would go to these weird avant-garde back in now this is the 70s, and there were some great weird movies back then.
Yeah.
And first one that I liked that was just so weird, and I can't believe who did it, but it was THX 1138. And Lucas, that was a Lucas project. That was his student film.
Right.
And I just thought that was so bizarre. And you could see titties. so they had some of that. But I love that movie. And then the next
titties aside,
the next favorite movie I loved back then was oh my God, A Boy and His Dog. And that movie had, oh God, what was his name? He was from Miami Vice, the TV show. Don Johnson starred in that. And that was an apocalyptic movie. And I loved it. I just loved the whole thing of it. Just how movies worked. I didn't know that I wanted to be in makeup yet or creatures or any of that. I had no idea. I just wanted to be part of that, Then I think what did it was two movies, and they were obvious. The first one was Star Wars, the cantina scene, all that fantasy stuff. And the second one was American Werewolf in London. Oh, my God. I just thought that actually scared the crap out of me. I wasn't into the Jason ones. I wasn't into the slasher movies because they really scared the crud out of me. I didn't like that. And even to this day, a boo shot just makes me like
jump scare.
Yeah, jump scare. It just scares the hell out of me. So, but those are the movies that started it,
right? And
that's what I started copying when I started working, or actually going to Tom's studio to learn how to do this stuff. And some people, I had a friend say, "I want to do what you do." And I don't know what he was thinking. I go, "Really? You want to do what I do?" And I go, "Okay, come on down to the studio." I asked Tom, I said, "Can my friend come over for lunch or buy lunch?" And before lunch, he didn't want to do it anymore because he didn't realize We're actually working. It's not all on-set action cameras hanging around with stars eating off the craft service.
Yeah.
No, we're making stuff.
Right.
And we're inventing things, and we're creating stuff. That's and he didn't get that. People don't get it. And now today, people want to do this, and there are a lot of ways to do it. But I still believe if you really want to do it and you got that gumption, go be an intern somewhere.
Right.
Say, I'll do anything. I'll sweep your. I told Tom, I'll do anything. I'll sweep your floors. I clean buckets.
Right.
You know, and then maybe he let me do something. Okay, he let me do something.
Right.
And if it didn't do it, he said, "Oh, can you do this? Go clean some more buckets." You know, until you could do it. And that was great. And that's how you do it.
Rob Freitas and Joe Caldwell have similar stories. Something about one of the two guys, maybe both of them, they were just sleeping out in their car outside of the studio for a while when they first got started, or something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, if you're listening to this. All right. You got Willie's Eye Bond story?
Okay. That's the Bondo story. But that the guy who was working for Dick LaMotte on the Goonies was a customer, great customer, loved military stuff. So he wanted to do the eye on One-Eyed Willie, and so I had a little quart can of Bondo, and the catalyst. And he goes, I want to do the eye on the whatever. And I go, okay. He goes, how do I work this stuff, Bondo? And I go, well, you take this and you mix these two together. You mix this paste and you mix this tube of
Was this like
catalyst.
right in front of the actor? Like
No. This is in the studio. This is in his shop, in his costume shop.
Okay.
And so we're doing this, and I go and you stir it up with the tongue depressor, and then you put it in the eye socket, and you kind of shape it a little bit, maybe with a little acetone on some gloves with your finger, and just kind of rub it till you're happy. Get what you want. And so about 15, 20 minutes later, he goes, Eric. I go, yeah. And he goes, there's something wrong. He goes, I did what you said. I took this stuff and I put it in the can and I stirred the can up.
Yeah.
And now it's all hard. And I didn't even get time to put it in the eye. And he had set off the entire can. I failed to mention you put a little bit on a piece of paper.
Right.
You put a little bit of this on there and you stir them together, and then you use a little at a time. He did the whole can. So that was absolutely hilarious.
So the next one you have on this list is I would call a heavy hitter.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Predator.
Right. Now this is amazing. If you go to IMDb and look up IMDb and look at the actors or the extra cast or the uncredited people, you're going to find Jean-Claude Van Damme on there.
Right.
Now, there's a rumor out there that Jean-Claude Van Damme was the Predator in the original movie. In the movie.
Yeah.
He was.
Yeah. I figured that was true. Yeah, I've seen the suit. I've seen the one shot of it.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks totally different.
Suit. Oh, yeah. It's totally, completely different. And it's that way. It's a weird suit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was supposed to. It looked to me when I looked at this picture of the suit that was come from the art department. To me, it was like a giant rat skull on top of a praying mantis arms on stilts, on backward dog legs. Okay, and kind of bug-like with a big, and they called it a carapace, this big like crab-like shell. That went around it. And so that was the design. And at Boss Films, where we did this first part, we built this suit. And Steve, to his credit, obviously, Steve's got a great eye, Steve Johnson. He didn't like it. Nobody really cared for this picture. So he started having Brennan's, what's his name? I'll come back. But it had one of our artists go in and start doing designs based on the script. And we'd show them things, and they didn't like it. And we'd show them other things, they didn't like it. And then they really came down to John McTiernan going, this is what we designed. This is what you build. Okay, we're building it. Did a life cast of Jean-Claude Van Damme, who's not a real tall guy anyways, and this thing's supposed to be tall. And put the whole thing together and took it to Mexico. Now, a lot of things from that show, from Boss Film, are in the movie.
Right.
Okay? The the 3 skinned bodies, those were done Boss Films. The Shane body, the one of Shane Black, who wrote the movie, who played the guy with the glasses, the radio guy, that was from Boss Films. There was a slit throat from Boss Films, and the machine gun arm that comes off from who's that guy?
It's been a while. I can't remember. You guys remember? Machine gun arm.
Who's the black actor who played?
Bill
Carl
Duke?
Weathers.
Or
Carl Weathers.
Carl Weathers.
It was Carl Weathers' arm came off, and that all happened at Boss Films. That all did. Then we had this red suit because it's in a jungle. Can't use a blue suit. Can't use a green suit because of the sky in the jungle. So we had a red suit.
Right.
And we put Jean-Claude Van Damme in this suit. Now here's Jean-Claude Van Damme. Now here's the first funny part about it. When we were fitting it on him, we put the helmet on him, and he was complaining about how it didn't fit. Mm-hmm. And I took the helmet off, and I realized if you look at Jean-Claude Van Damme, over his right eye, there's a bump. And we learned from him that he got in a kickboxing fight really bad, got kicked in the head, and went blind for 3 days.
Are you serious?
Wow.
And this bump never went away.
That was a stint whenever he was doing actual kickboxing in the ring or something?
In the ring.
Yeah.
That was
I've
really,
always
and he went
wondered what
blind
that
for
bump
3
was.
days.
Yeah, it's still there.
That's what that bump is. Now, here's
shit.
the
My
thing.
God.
When they did the live cast on this guy, they look at this and they go, holy shit, there's a bump in the live cast.
Yeah.
Not realizing that he had the bump. So they shaved it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Now he's got the bump in the live cast. The skull cap doesn't have the bump.
Right.
So that's why it didn't fit. So we literally had to cut a hole out of the skull cap so the bump would fit in there.
Yeah.
That's when we learned the whole story about the bump.
Oh, wow.
And so that was pretty interesting. But we're in the middle of the jungle with this suit on.
Yeah.
And it's got these, it's all made out of L200 foam. It's all made out of foam, and it's covered in fabric, and it's all red. And it's real weird.
Yeah.
And he's in it, and he's getting pissed.
Yeah.
And he says, I thought I was going to be like a gazelle, running through the forest and doing this, all this nice kicking and fighting. And here you have me in this ridiculous red suit. And he was pissed. He didn't know what the deal was.
Wow.
No one told him from production. So it's like, oh, my God. So here
Did we just break that story?
I think I did. Wow. I was there.
He thought he was going to be just a gazelle.
I was going to be a gazelle running through the forest, he said. So you'll find him in there, and it's called a body double. And there's one shot in there where he actually is in the red suit. Mm-hmm. It's the body where they're pulling chains through the bushes, and the bushes kind of open up, and he walks through. Well, he's pulling the body in the red suit. They
so how many, was it just one day of shooting he's in this thing? Did you shoot it all, or?
Oh, we shot.
There's any footage at all of him in this suit? Because I know that there's the photo, but actual footage.
No, absolutely not. They never shot with him in the suit.
Oh, okay.
Ever.
But
only
they flew
in the
him
red
down to
suit.
Mexico to shoot.
Yes.
Okay.
And only for one day did they film him in the red suit, and then he got mad.
Okay.
And then Joel Silver and the stunt man and the stunt coordinator came up to me, and Jean-Claude's behind Joel Silver, and Joel goes, can you make this suit fit this stunt man over the weekend? And I'm not going to say no. What I'm going to say, no, Joe, we can't do it.
Yes,
of course,
yes,
of course we can. And so we did. And so, boop, see you later. Jean-Claude's out.
And that was the same Ant Mantis suit.
Same Ant Mantis suit for that time.
Okay.
And we shot for a while. Now, I don't know exactly what happened to the production, but they didn't have a suit. They really didn't like it.
Yeah.
They didn't like the one that was there. There was some words spoken between McTiernan and Steve Johnson about it. And Steve brought down this stuff. There was originally in the movie, there was this trophy room. And I don't know if it's in the second movie because I didn't see it. But I saw the first one. And there was a trophy room, and in the trophy room had all these cool-looking aliens.
Yeah.
And Steve and his crew in L.A. made all this iridescent, translucent, his stuff, iridescent, cool-looking skulls and heads like you would see in an African trophy room, except everything's an alien.
Right.
And so it was really cool. And McTiernan goes, why can't our alien look like this?
Oh.
And Steve says, well, we designed this.
Mm.
You designed that.
Right.
And there was 2 minutes of very uncomfortable silence in that whole room. And then McTiernan left.
Mm.
And it was just, it was true.
Mm.
And it wasn't snotty, but it was, Steve saw it in the very beginning. That suit they made or they designed was really kind of not practical for what they're trying to do in the middle of a jungle. So they finished everything they could finish in the movie with what they had. They went back, hired Stan. Then we had Steve Wang, Matt Rose, the whole Stan crew do an amazing bitchin' suit. Absolutely fantastic. And it's iconic. And there you have it.
Did you do the animatronics on the mouth or?
I wasn't even into animatronics back then.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't even start.
Okay.
It was very interesting.
How did the mouth move exactly as far as the was it
That's a Stan thing. I wasn't working at Stan's.
Okay.
See, I worked at the Boss Films angle.
Okay.
Stan and Matt and all those guys worked on another angle. They went back down to Palenque and then finished the movie.
So about half of it was shot, and then they finally had the monster.
Yeah.
Basically.
Exactly.
So Predator was on some list on Metacritic or Rotten Tomatoes or something. Movies that the critics got wrong. When that movie was released, apparently it was panned left and right, and then it becomes this huge cult classic. And like, out of all the movies at Fractured that are played, because they have the little mini DVD players going all the time,
right?
When the sculptor's sculpting. Predator's like the number one.
It's
being
a great
played.
movie.
It's a great movie, but it seems like at the time. What was the reception at the time, though, as far as you remember?
It was another monster movie,
but it wasn't like a super huge thing at first.
The only thing that made it huge to us was Arnold was in it.
Okay.
It had Arnold in it and a bunch of other great actors.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a monster movie, and
Right.
it was really cool. And so, it could be good, but you know how that goes.
Right.
I'm not the guy.
You don't know. Yeah, you don't know.
I don't know. And I don't even know if I like the movie for like 2 years after I work on one. I honestly don't. Because I'm always thinking, oh, yeah, there I was behind the couch. Yeah, that's my hand. Oh, man, I got yelled at that day. I remember.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. So I have a story that is so awesome from the Predator that I have to tell just because it was really good. It was the Steve Johnson versus the monkey story. And we're down in Mexico. We're filming in Puerto Vallarta. And we're in a jungle. And here's the funny thing. It was kind of dry down there, really dry. And this jungle we were filming in had to have greensmen come in and literally load the jungle with green because it just wasn't enough. It didn't look like a jungle at all. But it did when they got done. It was awesome. And so we're down there, and there's this giant fallen log, and there's a spider monkey sitting on the log, and it has a chain on its neck, and there's a spike in the log with the other end of the chain on it. And this chain's like 8 feet long. And at the other end of the log, not close to the monkey, appeared to be a trainer, an animal handler, because they had wild animals on this show. So I'm walking down, and here's Steve, and he goes, hey, look, there's a monkey. Look at that cute little feller. Look at him. I want to go touch him. And I look over to the guy at the end of the log, and he gestures to me. His hands make kind of a scrunching finger thing, and his teeth are snarled. And he's going, hunk, hunk, hunk. And I go, hey, Steve, it looks like that guy's doing the universal symbol for the monkey bites. And Steve goes, he's so cute. What are you kidding me? Now the monkey has a hold of the chain in such a way now I didn't realize this till later, and nobody did. They had a hold of the chain in such a way that there was a loop of chain that went from his neck down about 1.5 feet, 2 feet, and then up to his hand, and he was holding it tight. So it looked like he wasn't be able to touch you, and Steve's reaching over, and the monkey's reaching over and giving the big eyes. And then the monkey lets go of the chain, grabs Steve by the pant leg, and pulls Steve off of his feet.
Holy shit.
Onto the ground, and is getting ready to bite the monkey, or the monkey's getting ready to bite Steve in the leg. And of course, I'm going, oh my God, what do I do? I'm standing right there. I grab I had a bandana in my back pocket, and I swat at the monkey. The monkey looks at me and goes, and then bites Steve in the leg. And I laughed so fucking hard. I fell down and rolled down this hill, and I just couldn't believe it. Steve has this problem. He pulled away from the monkey, unscathed, luckily no broken skin, but it was just insane. Now, the funniest thing was, we had more equipment coming down. They heard the story up in L.A. about this, and Randy Cook, who is an amazing illustrator, drew sketches of Steve and I and a monkey biting Steve, and it came down on top of the case. When we opened it, it's like, here's this cartoon that was going around the shop and posted. And it's like, oh, yeah, that's exactly what happened. They got the whole story. It was perfect. So that was Steve. Steve, I've heard on other shows when he worked on, I think Greystoke, had a monkey issue. So Steve and monkeys kind of goes...
They don't get along.
It just seems that something happens every time with Steve and monkeys.
I feel like I've met Steve Johnson, but I haven't.
Well, because everybody does an imitation of it.
And everybody knows him. Everybody,
Oh, yeah.
They worked for a long time and everything. But
oh, yeah, everybody knows Steve. All the antics that go on are probably true. They're fun. They're really crazy stories. Everyone's got a great story. And Steve is writing his own great stories now in his own book.
Oh, he's got a book coming out?
He's got another one coming out,
Oh,
Rubberhead 2. So he has 2 books, yeah.
Nice.
So that's great.
I haven't gotten those.
Yeah, he went through his archives and shows stuff from behind the scenes, stuff we worked on. It's really cool.
So one
Awesome.
time you asked me when I was born, and I said 1984, and you said, oh, I was working on the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man that year.
Nice.
I was like, damn. So what about Ghostbusters? How was it working on that?
That was, again, didn't know. Bill.
You thought it was going to be another bullshit movie?
I didn't know. I
Yeah.
didn't even know where I was working. I got to work at Boss Films. I had no idea where I was working. And then I realized when just going around through the archives there, they did Blade Runner. I go, are you kidding me? They did all the little miniature sets for Blade Runner, all the vehicles, all that stuff there. And it was amazing. So I'm working at Boss Films with all these old school guys. Mark Stetson, who's now a visual effects guy, big time. Les Ecker, another visual effects guy, big time. Richard Edlin, he ran the joint. Fantastic. This is back in the day. Now, this is crazy. So here I'm watching them do stuff and how they really did it. They would have motion control. They would have giant, like we did 2010 there, had a giant spaceship. The camera would come by it real slow, just crawl by it. Take all night to shoot one little shot,
Oh,
a
really?
flyby.
Yeah.
Because, the camera has to move,
Yeah.
freeze,
Right.
move, freeze. They did it actually as a stop motion kind
Frame
of
at a
thing.
time, yeah.
Frame at a time. So it was really sharp and came through, exposure's right. Blue screen. In the old days where you didn't light the screen, they had these freaking blue lights that were fluorescent tubes like 10 feet long that lit it up like UV light. And if you looked into the screen, I'm sure it wasn't good for you. You would see like little stars in your eyes.
Oh,
Now,
wow.
I think it was weird, but that's how it was. And this is all old school stuff. So we're making Ghostbusters here and doing all these cool effects. And that taught me so much about filmmaking. It just is amazing to see how things were really done.
So did you make the mold for the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, or like how exactly, a sculpture? Or?
Oh, no, Stay Puft. I worked with Billy Bryant on that.
Okay.
And Billy Bryant was in charge of all the foam fabrication. And this is back when I was the Mr. Foam Fabricator guy. And so he basically had a design, patterns. We had a model that we worked on, and we made that out of sheet foam. And the interesting part was, how do you make this beautiful, smooth, 6 foot, 4 foot around body without having any seams in it?
Right.
Because that's the deal. You can't have a seam. And we had to use Snow White 1/8 inch Scott foam it was. It was like 100 PPI, which means 100 pores per inch. Very fine. But Scott foam's an amazingly durable foam. You can pull on it and it doesn't want to tear, and it kind of stretches. It's beautiful stuff. But if you put this white foam in the sunlight for a minute, it turns yellow, so that was bad. You had to keep everything in black.
Right.
And we would fabricate with underlayers, like we'd have L200, which is a very dense, hard kind of matte foam that you would have on a wrestling mat. That would be the substructure. It had seams in it. Then we'd have another layer of foam over that we'd pull tight. It had seams in it. Mm-hmm. Then the last layer, which was this 1/8-inch layer, it took like 4 or 5 people to stretch it over, put spray glue down, stretch it around, and every suit had to be made in such a way that the zipper and seams were on the opposite side of where the camera was looking. Mm-hmm. So we had a front one. If you looked at it from the back, we had a back one with a zipper in the front. If you looked at it from 3/4, we had one on the 3/4 the other side. And we had dozens of these suits, depending how you would film them. So, and then Billy Bryant was Stay Puft. He was inside the suit for all the scenes, except one where they lit it on fire, and they used a stuntman for that.
Oh, okay.
And when he comes up over the top and he's on fire, and you look at him from down low and you see the building and he's standing there and he's waving his arms, he's on fire. There was a stuntman in there. Now, granted, this foam rubber, you light foam rubber on fire, what do? You get like cyanide gas. You get poison.
Yeah.
Literally get poison.
And he's inside the suit.
Now, there's a stuntman in here. He's got a fire suit on. Tony, I can't remember Tony's last name, but he's a great fire stuntman. Mm-hmm. Has like the record for the longest free-armed skin, no suit burn.
These guys do this all the time.
All the time.
The fire guys.
He's in this suit. He looks like he's, getting in a dragster. He's got these Pyrex eyes he can see out of these glass eyes. He's in this suit, and he has a scuba regulator in his mouth and a tank off to the side.
Oh, wow.
And so
this is nuts, man.
Yeah. So, and every time everybody roll, and we're doing all this, and we're doing this all at night, out in the parking lot of Boss Films. And cars that drive by, they can see what's going on. A guy standing up next to a building on fire.
Wow.
It's all lit up. But and then they put him out, and this guy would stay in as long as he had to. He never went down on his knees or anything. That was the cue to something bad's happening. He never did that. They'd get their shot. They put him out. Now, this was the disgusting part. I'd run up. I'd lift the helmet off of his head.
Yeah.
And I'm not kidding. Orange, yellow, billowing, disgusting smoke came out of the suit. I mean, it was poison.
Yeah.
And you could tell this guy, but he's breathing fine. He's doing good.
Is he still alive? Still with us?
I believe he is.
Okay.
I'm not sure. But he was after that.
Okay.
He never died on that shot.
Okay, gotcha.
No, but it was great. So that was really fun.
That's fucking nuts, man.
Yeah.
So somebody that was driving by was just, nonchalantly driving past this Stay Puft Marshmallow Man on fire scene.
Absolutely.
And they didn't know. This is in Burbank or where?
No, this is in Marina Del Rey on
okay.
Glencoe Avenue. The building's probably still there. Boss is no longer there. That's where the model shop was.
Okay.
And it was huge, huge model shop. And they had a stage next door and a parking lot. And if you'll remember, they blew up the top of the building in Ghostbusters. The whole top blows out in 4 directions when Gozar gets all bent out of shape. And they did that. We were all there in the middle of the night. Matter of fact, Leslie was there. And we were sitting on top of the roof while they blew this thing up. They did it with naphthalene, which is basically mothballs, black powder, and explosive, and it made those beautiful fireballs.
It just sounds poisonous as fuck.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know what mothballs smell like, right?
Yeah.
They have that smell, right?
Yeah.
So after they blow it up, half the mothballs never went off.
Yeah.
They never burned. It gives off this beautiful orange flame.
Before I worked at Fractured, I was mainly in, editing and post-production for the most part. Did a bunch of stuff. So this was like, getting into this industry now, it's like my first time working in a hazardous work environment.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Like, it's pretty serious shit sometimes.
What we deal with can be very dangerous.
Yeah.
That's why they have, even over, everywhere, they have respirators available to everybody, and they have goggles available. And you regularly see people walking around in white suits, like hazmat suits, the Tyvek suits. You have to.
And it's like construction, you just hear power tools all the time. Like, I didn't hear that at previous workplaces.
Well, let's talk about safety for a minute. No, seriously, there have been some situations where I think things have been really unsafe.
Yeah.
We were working on this movie called The Cave in Romania. Mm-hmm. Okay, in Romania, they're very loose, let's just say, on the safety.
Yeah.
Okay?
Pretty lax.
So I'm shooting second unit in this stage. Now, this stage, this stage was basically Now, Barandov was the one that Hitler used for his propaganda films, but it was basically a Russian propaganda movie.
Okay.
House. This is where they did all this stuff. So we're in Romania shooting this, and we're filming on this stage, and we're doing everything's in a cave. It's the cave, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the name of the movie, Cave Monsters.
Was this pretty recent?
No, this is like 2006, 7, somewhere around there.
I feel like I've seen this
It's
movie.
Wings Hauser, not Wings Hauser, but his son, Hauser, and nonetheless, it was this you didn't miss much.
All right.
This one I knew.
You knew it was going to be bad.
I knew this was going to be bad. Okay, I can pick a bad one.
Yeah.
Okay, a good one I don't know, but a bad one.
When it crosses the lower threshold.
Yeah, definitely. I knew this was a stinker.
Okay.
So we're working on this stage shooting second unit. It's a very small unit, and we're doing this stuff supposed to look like we're hanging from the ceiling and all this stuff, but we're actually on the ground shooting it upside down. And here comes this, through the big doors of the stage, here comes this flatbed truck with 55-gallon drums and rolls of hoses on it. And I go, ooh, that looks interesting. I wonder what's going on. So I go over to the guys in the truck, and thank God they speak English. And they said, yes, we're going to we spray the foam. We have foam spray. We spray in the building here, and then after lunch, they can put fiberglass on this. And I go, oh, okay, so they're spraying urethane foam, and they're going to, but we're working in here. No, we're going to do this at lunch, and then it'll be good. Everything after that. So you go to lunch, everything will be fine.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't think so. So I'm not happy about this because we're working in this environment. So I go over to the producer. And the producer's Italian guy, I forget his name. His wife is Romanian, Italian-Romanian. I won't get in trouble for this because it's true. And he says, no. And I go, well, show me the MSDS, the material data safety sheets. And he goes, right here. And he opens his book up. And he goes, this stuff is the best stuff. It just comes, we just shipped it out here from Germany. Had a truck trim it out. And it says right here that, in German, that after 20 minutes, it's safe.
It's 20 hours, right?
No.
Oh.
I just said, I've been doing this for 20 years.
Uh-huh.
I've never found a polyfoam that you could breathe anywhere. It wasn't gassing off after 20 minutes. I go, but I said, you're the producer. And you read German, and you just told me that it's going to be safe. So you know what? It's safe as far as I know, right?
Yeah.
It's safe, right?
Yeah.
He goes, yeah, it's safe. I go, good. So I go back to the production. I go, they say it's safe. Now, just about that time, we went to lunch. And just after lunch, they called us from this stage, second unit, to go to first unit to shoot. So we take all our gear and go to first unit, but second unit's still there. And we're filming and having a good old time and doing this stuff with the creature suit. And all of a sudden I see the second unit director and the AD and camera operator on first unit. I go, hey, what are you guys doing here? And he goes, seems that we had a toxic problem on our stage, and they're trying to clear it out now. Well, apparently, they didn't get it cleared out. We didn't shoot that day on that stage, nor did we shoot the following day because of the fiberglass.
Right.
But that stuff happens.
Yeah.
And it can be dangerous. And even if you try to call them out on it, you can go so far. And they were smart enough to get the hell out of that stage.
That's good.
Yeah.
Nobody died.
But the guys spraying the foam, the Romanian guys, it's okay. You have a mask? Who needs mask? Don't need mask.
Right.
Everybody's there. Oh, my God.
Meanwhile, the guy can't spell his name anymore.
Everybody there I saw had a bandage on them somewhere.
Yeah.
It's just like, and so they wanted two monsters fighting, but we only had Brian Steele in this particular movie, too. And this is hilarious, too. So we got this guy. We had a bunch of guys come in who could fit the suit and try to get him to fit the suit. We found one guy that could fit the suit. Okay, so he was in one suit and Brian's in another suit. And they're going to have a battle, and there are going to be two of them fighting over the guy who's one of the actors and, wanting to eat him, both taking their turn at him. And so we put this guy in it, and we just work him. We worked this guy. And we tried to tell, again, production, you don't understand. Being a suit performer is a really, really special job. You got to get your head right. You're in a suit that's heavy, awkward. Anything you do, you got to do bigger so it looks better and it looks bigger. And so we do this guy and do him for one day. And then it was great. We take him out of it. He's sweating. He's like, oh, my God, I've never been so, I pray to God that I have job for 3 years. I ask, please, God, I want to have this job.
Right.
And this is job I get. So this is what he sells. He says, Eric, if I did not know better, I think you're trying to kill me. And I go, no, this is suit work. This is what suit work's about.
Yeah.
So it's amazing. He came back 3 days later and he did another day because he did. But he said, I slept for 3 days. I was so tired.
Wow.
Because it worked him. It just tore him up. But you have so much adrenaline when you're in the suit. Camera roll, go, do this, jump on the guy.
Right.
You just do.
Right.
Then you're fried. So hats off to all you guys, all you suit performers. Doug Jones, Brian Steele, all you guys, great. Thanks.
Yeah, I'm gonna hopefully get somebody, a suit actor here soon. I can't reveal the name just yet, but nobody. Well, I think he's on the up and up, but not like Doug Jones level. Not yet.
He'd be wonderful, by the way, and I bet he'd want to do it in a minute. He's a great guy.
Can you hook me up?
Yes, I can.
All right.
I'll see if
that would be fucking awesome, man.
I'll make a few phone calls, see if we can get him hooked up.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, he'd be really good.
The Silver Surfer.
Absolutely.
Him and the Saru and the Star Trek Discovery. I love that show, man.
Yeah.
Have you been watching that?
No, is he in there?
Yeah, he has got a full-on speaking role, everything, suit
Wow.
acting. I loved it. It kind of set a new bar for what do you call it? Like the new like paid internet channels, Like apparently DC is making one, and when I read online, there's a new Titans one, I think, and they said that this is going to be Star Trek Discovery level. Just the fact that they're referring to it like that, like it's this high pedestal. You know what I mean? I thought that was cool.
Well, it was, it had to have been Hellboy where he had a speaking role in that. And they used, no, they didn't use his voice. They overdubbed
in the
his
second
voice.
one.
But he did all the performance. I mean, honestly.
Yeah, yeah.
Even though they did the ADR on him. So, but Doug's a great guy.
Movement is important. A lot of people I don't think they really realize it. They can recognize it when they see it, but they don't think about it that much. You know what I mean?
And it can be overdone.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
And even overdone. It's like, oh, less, no more. And yeah, it can be overdone.
Right.
If you're going to be a monster, you're not Harryhausen's monster, but that's how they get up. Everybody gets on their toes and moves their arms out to the side.
Yeah.
Well, not everybody, not Brian Steele and not Doug Jones.
I've seen, I won't say any names or any show names, but I've seen like what do you call it? Like somebody in addition to the suit actor was like a movement specialist or something, and just was teaching the person how to move.
When they did, my understanding, when you did, Planet of the Apes. Oh, there's another one. That was another inspiration for me when I was a kid. Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? Oh yeah,
yeah.
I love that. But when they did the new Planet of the Apes, when they used it, Rick Baker was there. They had Gorilla School. They had Monkey School.
This was for the Tim Burton one.
I believe so. Yeah,
okay.
The one that was shot out here in the desert.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. They
Just
had
to
school.
learn
You
how
had
to-
to learn how to do it. They had a guy who was great at it, who looked like a monkey, a gorilla, would run like him, and get everybody to do that.
Right.
Yeah, there's school. You got to go to it.
Yeah, I think that's. I'm a fan of that. I'm a fan of like
Get it right.
the movement of it all. Yeah, I think it's really
Get
cool.
It, right. It is. It's important. Absolutely.
What do you got on here next? So,
let's see. I know one. Let's go. Here, this is a great one. So, Innocent Blood and Don Rickles. We got to talk about that because I have here. This is great. Here's a picture. This was taken at Steve Johnson's shop. We made Don Rickles. He was a vampire. This movie's about vampires.
I have not seen this movie.
John
truthfully.
Landis directed it, and Don Rickles and Bob Loggia were in it. And they're vampires. They're gangster vampires, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
It's an interesting concept. And we made Don Rickles disintegrate, catch on fire. The sun, they open the windows to the hospital, the sun hits Don Rickles, and then he starts burning on fire. Now, this was a cool trick. It was a foam rubber head of Don Rickles that was independently shot on second unit there in Pittsburgh. And what we did to make this guy burn, it was really cool, is we used 2 different kinds of acid on foam rubber. Now, kids, I'm going to say this right now. Please don't try this at home. But if you do, one, have either baking soda or sodium carbonate powder right next to you, lots of it available. Because if you get this stuff on your skin, it's going to burn you. It's going to blind you. I would wear a Tyvek suit, full face mask, rubber gloves up to my elbow, and then you cuff the rubber gloves so if anything rolls down, it catches in the cuff and rolls away from you.
Right.
Okay, so safe you have to be. But here's what we did. Took Don Rickles' head out of foam rubber, and we treated with 2 acids. One is nitric acid, one is sulfuric acid. Okay? And now I'm not sure which one. You have to try them to test it. You put first either the nitric or the sulfuric into the foam. Painted foam ready to go. Oh, and what we would do is score the foam with a razor blade a little bit so that it would absorb the acid. Okay? So we pump it full, we'd fill it, we'd coat it, we'd draw it, we would paint it with this acid. I used one of those scientific bottles with the little tube that comes out the top, and then it squeezes out, and it had the acid in it. We'd fill it up with that acid. Now, inside of the puppet, we had a full-blown puppet. Inside that puppet, we had a reservoir that had little tubes, dozens of them, come out to the surface of the skull underneath the foam rubber that was there. And we filled that reservoir with nitric acid, or the opposite acid. And it sat there. And then we took a little bit of air, very low pressure, like 5 psi, and we'd pump it into that reservoir, and it would push the other acid up these little tubes, and they would come out under the skin, just below the surface. When those 2 acids meet, they create an enormous amount of heat. And literally, the foam rubber starts to burn, turn to charcoal, and turn black. And you'll actually see fire in there. And it's an amazing effect. It gives off an enormous amount of smoke. You don't want to breathe any of it. But we had a big fan over the top of it that sucked all the smoke out. And we would fire that baby up and then, start puppeteering, roll the camera, then go tick, 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 literally go tick, tick, tick with a button that would have a solenoid to let the air go in and push it into that reservoir, because we didn't want anything squirting out towards us. We're puppeteers. We're right by it. And this thing would lit up and burned. It was awesome. Really cool effect. So cool that if I, in cursive, wrote my name in one acid and then touched one drop on the end of that name, it would actually write my name in burning black fire all the way out. It just continued to burn.
Poisonous as hell.
Poisonous as hell. Dangerous as hell. Please don't do it. I've done it like 3 times. We did it on this one. We did it on AI. The girl gets acid poured on her head. We did it on that effect. Both times. It's hairy dangerous, but it is a really, really cool effect. And the first time they did it was on Fright Night.
Okay.
And that's Steve Johnson learned about it from Thane Morris. Thane Morris, the effects guy, did it. Steve told me about how it worked. We then executed it, and it worked great. It was a cool effect. So, Don Rickles, greatest guy in the world. If you were to ask me who are the greatest guys you ever worked with in your career, I'd say Don Rickles is one of them.
He didn't make fun of you or anything?
Oh, God, yes.
Oh, he did.
He had to. Yeah. Oh, it was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic guy.
Yeah.
Knows everybody by name. As soon as he meets you, he'll call you your name.
That's cool.
Really, really cool. And stories? Oh, my God. Old Vegas stories. Old this, old that. All this stuff. He had a handler. I forget his name. Thomas, I believe it was. And how he got Thomas was, he has, his show. He's a mean guy. He says, he loads his audience and then says, hey, greaseball, and hey, you, hey, fatso, or whatever. He does all that, right? Someone was waiting for him in an alley. after the show at the stage door and was going to work him over. And this guy saved him.
Oh, shit.
Beat those guys up. And then he said, you are my guy forever.
Wow.
And so we got to meet him.
Cool.
After the show, or during the show when we were working on Innocent Blood, he goes, hey, if you're ever in Vegas, I always play the Gold Nugget. If you're ever in the Gold Nugget, you see me there, call me. I'll get you in. I thought, yeah, sure. Leslie and I were in Vegas. We were staying at the Gold Nugget. Don Rickles was there. Cool. I call the front desk, okay? And I said, this is Eric Fiedler in room so-and-so. Could you connect me with Mr. Rickles' room, please? They did it.
Oh, wow.
I didn't think they were going to do it. I thought, oh, this is where it stops.
Right.
I don't know where I'm going to go from here, but this is where it stops. Nope. Connected to his room. I talked to Thomas. I'm talking to the guy who saved him. Right. I said, Thomas, this is Eric Fiedler. I worked on Innocent Blood with Don Rickles. He said, if I'm in town, and I said, I should go. He goes, you got it. Go to the front. Talk to the maitre d'. He has seats for you.
That's awesome.
I go, you're kidding me.
Hell yeah.
So we go. Leslie and I go to the show. Oh, he also said, after the show, come to the green room and say hi to Don.
That's awesome.
I go, are you kidding? Great. So we go to the show. Now, here's how the show works. There's a front, in this show, there was a front audience. There was like a level that was like a wide, 8-10 foot wide level with tables on it. Then a back audience. Okay. Here's what I find out. The maitre d' loads the front with people. He goes, okay, I need a fat guy. A guy looks like he's Latino. I need a greaseball.
Yeah.
I need all these kinds. So they load the front. You think you're getting great seats?
Yeah.
They ever put you in the front? You're screwed. So they didn't put us in the front. They put us in this middle section. Leslie and I had our own table.
Okay.
Nice.
He does the show. Great show. Middle of the show, he takes a break. He goes, we have some special guests here. He goes, by the way, you've seen her in all the road shows with Bob Hope and Bing Crosby. Miss Lana Turner is here. Lana, would you stand up? Seriously. Right next to us is this older lady. Light hits her. There's Lana Turner. Wow. Amazing. That's fantastic. And he goes, and I just got done doing this movie, he says. Innocent Blood. It's about vampires. You're going to love it. The makeup man who is here, who did my makeup for that. I didn't do his makeup, but that's what he said.
Yeah.
He's making something of it. Eric Fiedler's here. Stand up, Eric Fiedler. And I'm like, holy shit, I didn't expect this. So I'm standing up. Everybody give him a big round of applause. He goes, all right, knucklehead, sit down. That's enough for you. Of course.
Yeah, of course.
What do you think this is, the Academy? And he does that. And it was great. We go backstage after the show. He's talking with Lana Turner. Is it Lana Turner? Wait, maybe I missed Dorothy Lamour. Excuse me. I'm sorry, I blew it. It was Dorothy Lamour. Thank you, Leslie. Dorothy Lamour. He goes, so, and he's talking to us as if we're having a conversation with all of us. And he goes, so Eric, you got to understand, Leslie, look, Dorothy Lamour actually came up with those road shows. She was the one who came up with the idea. Everybody thinks Bing did it, but he's talking to us like he's known us our whole lives. Amazing. So, greatest guy in the whole world.
That's awesome. So he's your favorite person you've worked with?
One of two.
One of two, okay.
One of two. The second one is this guy.
Oh, he's holding up the Bicentennial Man book.
Script.
Script. Okay, it looks like a school yearbook from the outside.
It's all hard covered. They printed up Bicentennial Man scripts for the crew.
Nice.
And there's a picture of Robin Williams inside holding the bicentennial mask, and has a little thing written to me from Robin. Greatest guy in the whole world. Amazing. 62 days. No one else was in that suit except Robin.
Oh, nice.
Bill Bryant was in a suit, but not as Robin's character. And didn't complain once about anything. Really good. Taught me a lot about how he does his style. His style for filmmaking is he starts out small when you shoot. Take, little bigger, back small. That's his style. And so what we would do when we filmed him in that is I round the brows and the blinks. Very simple puppet, brows and blinks. And how I got the job was we built the head. Bill Bryant was in the suit demonstrating it for Chris Columbus, and I was running the face. Jaw was run by Robin Williams, or in this case was Bill Bryant. So I'm operating it. I'm across the room, standing on a table. Everybody's crowded around Bill Bryant. They're doing a demonstration with Bill in the suit, and the eyes would move, and he would go into a gesture, and I'd do a reciprocal expression that went with it. And Chris goes, "Well, who is Bill doing the expression?" He goes, "No, Eric's doing the expression." "Well, where's Eric?" "Well, he's over there." And he goes, "I want that guy. I want that guy to do the face." That's how I got the job. So I go, "Fantastic. You bet I'll do that." So I went and got to run Robin's face. Now, the face was held on with magnets. First time I ever used magnets to stick a face on.
Oh.
And Steve Johnson, when we were doing this show, he says, This is Robin Williams. You got to do, this is Robin Williams. If he wants out of that, he wants out now.
Right.
He's going to do his rehearsals with his face off. So it's got to go on that fast. And I go, okay, let me think about it. So I come up with this magnet thing. And so we have a bust of Robin. We have the back of the helmet on there. And then I have the face in my hand. And I go, well, how's this, Steve? And he goes, well, how's what? And I go, I'm going to show you how fast the face goes on. From 3 feet away, I throw the face at the head. The magnets all go and line up and slap on. I go, how about that? That's pretty quick. It's on there, huh?
Yeah.
He goes, you're not going to really do that with Robin. I go, why not? Hey, Robin, go out for a pass. And he goes, you're not going to do that. And I go, of course not. But that's how fast it goes on. And that's how fast it comes off. So we did that. And while I was working with Robin, we'd do it face off. And the nice thing is, I sit there and watch what he's doing with his eyes. I watch what he's doing with his brows. We go back in, then we copy that. And that's what it was. I was just doing him.
Was he wasn't like always on, right?
Always on.
He always
on. On. We got an hour to dress him in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
We found out later it took 17 minutes really to put the suit on when you had to in a minute now. But he would come in, tell a joke, we'd sit there, da-da-da, how's it going?
Like early in the morning, he's already full energy.
Boom. Yeah. Lit. Not lit alcohol.
Yeah.
Lit up, just going.
Right.
Telling jokes, telling stories.
Mm-hmm.
Great stuff. Really good stuff. Great guy. No complaining from that guy. So sad.
Because complaints do happen pretty much from everybody, though.
Oh, yeah.
Most of the time, just because this stuff is so difficult to
It is. It's
get in and out of.
Hard to wear.
Yeah.
It pinches, it bites, it twists, it binds.
Right.
Yeah. Suits are that way.
It takes hours, and you're waking up earlier than usual.
Absolutely.
All right. What else? Oh, yeah, we got to talk about this. Monster Squad. What'd you do for this one?
Oh, okay. This is great. So I worked at Stan Winston's for Monster Squad.
I love that movie, man.
4 classic characters: Vampire, Mummy, Wolfman, Frankenstein. Oh, Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yes.
Okay, now here's a little note that nobody knows, but if you look at the Creature from the Black Lagoon suit that they did for Monster Squad, in the throat, right where the Adam's apple is, I don't think you'll ever see it on TV, Matt Rose sculpted an homage to the original Creature. Oh. And in one of the scales was the Creature of Black Lagoon in low relief.
Oh, wow.
So it's really cool.
That's nice.
So that was it. And the neat thing about that is I did basically lab work, tech work. I got to punch hair on the Wolfman's arms. That was part of it. But one of the things I did on set was I was being a certified diver.
We've talked about that a little bit.
Yeah, certified diver is really a good thing to be in film industry. Not that it pays anymore, but it sure opens up doors. Yeah. I was his spotter. He had to come out of the Walton's Pond on the back lot of Warner Brothers. And that's where the Walton Pond was. The funny thing about the Walton's Pond is it was so full of leaf litter and leaf debris, and he would walk out for this one particular scene where he comes out. There was hydrogen sulfide like crazy in that water. It was like you could smell the farts when you stirred it up. It just smelled bad. Yes. And what you didn't know is later, after we were done filming, your skin rashed out because you just got a burn. And that's what happens. Another safety thing. Who knew? What are they going to do? Filter it out? No, they're not going to filter it out for us. That's Walton's Pond. So, but I was his spotter for that. Took him out of the water. Very cool.
With that movie, I rented it when I was really young, I hadn't seen a trailer or anything. I think it had been out for a while, and I remember I came home, and my mom said, "You have to do your homework before you watch this movie." I did not, and I just watched the movie, and
she's still mad.
No, but I lied to her. Like, did you do your homework? And I said, yeah, but I didn't, and I don't know if I ever did that particular homework, because I think I watched the movie again.
It's a great movie.
Yeah, it was
really good.
One of the first like monster movies I was like super into. I guess because it's kind of a lighter. It's almost like Goonies-esque.
It is.
You know,
I think it kind of followed that same line.
Yeah,
I really do.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yep, that was the only thing I did on set, because I was there as a spotter, because I dove. But basically, I was doing lab work.
You were spotting what in the water exactly?
Well, Tom Woodruff was in the creature suit. I'm sorry. He was in the Creature Black Lagoon suit.
Mm-hmm.
So he had to literally rise up out of the water from completely submerged.
And you're just propping him up in the suit and underwater or something?
I would keep the regulator for him.
Yeah.
He would have a regulator so he could breathe out of it. And then he would go underwater.
Yeah.
Then I'd take the regulator, and then I'd duck underwater, not breathe, hold my breath.
Right.
And then he would come up out of the water and then walk out slowly in a Creature from the Black Lagoon-esque style.
Okay.
And, Tom Woodruff has done tons and tons of suit work.
And you just got this job because you're like, hey, you're certified.
Well, exactly.
That's
they
cool.
did. They needed someone to be certified, and I kind of pushed that way. And I ended up ordering all the equipment and the hookah lines, and I was familiar with what would make Tom safe.
Mm-hmm.
And I've done that. Diving is fantastic. Let's talk about diving. Here, I've done like 4 shows diving.
That's cool.
Okay. I did The Abyss. I dove on that show.
That's cool.
And here's the really interesting thing about that. We're down in San Pedro in this big, giant tank that had probably the largest Lexan, or I'm sure it's Lexan, glass window in the front of it that was probably 10 inches thick, and it was probably 20 feet wide and 15 feet tall. The tank was 15 feet deep. And it even bowed. If you looked at the sides of it, you could look down the side and see that it was actually had a water pressure behind it. This was what they were filming through to do underwater stuff. It was made for the movie Splash down here, and it was still there.
Right.
Well, Cameron knew about it. It was here, even though they shot in the Carolinas in an
undisclosed location?
No, it was in a nuclear reactor water tank.
Oh, I think I've heard of this. Yeah,
but it was never put online.
Oh.
So it was a 65 or so foot deep tank, and they would scuba dive down there and film all this stuff really underwater. They had guys down there that would have to decompress for hours after wrap.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Because they're down there for so long. They're past 35 feet.
Yeah.
So once you're past 35 feet, you've got a decompression time. They'd sit there, have guys changing out, dropping other lines down. They'd change out hoses on hookahs.
They would go into called the decompression
chambers. Yeah,
really, just right there.
Right there, they had them on set.
God.
So I was on this little set. I didn't go to the big set here in San Pedro, and I'm working, and then I hear somebody talking in my head underwater while I'm scuba diving, working underwater, and it's like, Eric, can you move that a little to the right? And it was real quiet.
Yeah.
And I go, what the? And I look around.
This
I don't
motherfucker
see anything.
James Cameron.
Exactly. And I look around and I see like a pie tin on the side, and then I look out the glass and there's Cameron talking to me. He says, yeah, just move it a little more to the right, please. Like it's in my head. And what they were using is a hydrophone.
Okay.
But it's so weird.
Yeah.
You can hear them in your head.
Because you're not used to that shit. Because
I've never done this. This is my first diving gig on set.
What's the actual title for that?
The Abyss?
I mean, no. I mean the position, like film diver, or what's your credit?
I don't know. It could be safety diver. It could be diving tech, whatever.
Dive tech, maybe. Yeah.
Dive tech.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be that. So we're diving. So that was one show that was cool. I got to dive on. Another was I got to dive on. Oh, come on. What is it? Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh shit. Okay.
Okay. This is the hell of the underwater sinners or upside down sinners. Okay, they're all underwater in a tank. This was at MGM Studios. Got to meet Kurt Russell. Goldie Hawn showed up for some reason. Got to meet Goldie Hawn because
she's just there.
She just showed up. Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
And it was very cool. Really nice guy. He again another personable guy. Guy who sit there and talk to you.
He seems nice.
Like you know him.
Mm-hmm.
Like you've known him forever.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so I dove on that show, setting up all those things underwater. We had to rig them
awesome.
and put them and put monofilaments on so we could turn them slowly as the guys were swimming and getting scared by them. Yeah. So it was kind of underwater puppeteering again.
Cool.
That's cool, man.
And then I got to work again with Kurt Russell on Death Proof with Quentin Tarantino.
Oh, shit.
Nice.
Another one. Of course, I didn't say anything because he'd never remember who the hell I was.
Yeah. But
we were filming in Buellton, and I had a double of Kurt Russell. This is for K&B Studios, and this is a Nicotero job.
Awesome.
So he set me up there, and I asked production. I'd worked already in Austin, Texas with them, and I asked production, hey, can I bring my son up? He's never seen a film set. And they go, sure, bring your son up. So I brought this upper torso of Kurt Russell and my son to Buellton. Now, the great thing about the Kurt Russell torso, and everybody talks about doing this, well, I did it. I took Kurt Russell torso and I put it in my truck. I rolled down the window and I put his arm in the window. I put sunglasses, and this was spot on for Kurt Russell. I put sunglasses on it because the eyes, they're not moving. You don't know if he's awake. And I rode in the Diamond Lane. And that's what I did. This is taking it from K&B back to my house. So then I take this Kurt Russell upper torso and I show it to my son. He goes, oh, that's cool. I go, watch what I'm going to do. And he goes, what are we going to do? I'm going to put it in our bed. So Leslie's in the bathroom, and the bathroom's connected to the bedroom. She's doing makeup, whatever she's doing. I take Kurt Russell, I put it in the bed, and I set it up, prop it up against the pillows, and I said, okay, we're going to go out and watch TV. He goes, I want to see what happens. I go, you'll know what happens. And so 5 minutes later, I hear, Eric, oh, Jesus, fuck, God damn it, what the, Eric, what's going on? She saw Kurt Russell sitting in her bed, scared the crap out of her. So the next day, yeah, that's the fun around the Fiedler house. So the next day, Christopher, Kurt, and I drive up, but Christopher's in shotgun this time. Kurt's in back. We drive up to Buellton, and I said, Chris, you can be my assistant and help me load Kurt Russell into the car. Now, this is where the scene where the girls finally get pissed off and go after Kurt. And they slam into the back of his car, and then he does, like a head slam into the steering wheel, and his car rolls down the street or down into the valley. So we're sitting there, we're rigging it, and my son's helping me, and it's all set up, ready to go. And Quentin goes, "Hey, who's that? Who's that new guy on my set? That blonde kid? Who is that? Sure like to meet him." And I go, "Christopher." I go, "Quentin wants to meet you." And he's like, "Oh my God." And I go, "I hope this works out," because he could go, nervy on me. He goes down there and goes, "Hey, come on." Quentin takes him down to the car, to the dummy, and opens the door and goes, "Check this out, man. He's going to slam his head against the car." Boom. And he goes, "Yeah, isn't that cool?" And then Christopher's going, "Oh my God, Quentin Tarantino's talking to me." Slams his head a couple times into it. And he goes, "That's good. You help with this?" He goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "That's great. Thanks, man."
That's cool, man.
Right up to my kid. The kid was 8.
Oh,
8-year-old kid.
Wow.
And he's like really cool. Quentin is awesome, by the way. Another person has the whole movie in his head. He knows.
It seems like it, yeah.
He knows.
Yeah.
It's all edited. From what I understand, he was a total film buff,
Oh, yeah. It's famous, right? He supposedly worked at a video rental shop and watched literally
movies.
Every movie in the shop.
Yep. And I
just
think
watch anything.
I think it was down near Lancashire or right in the Laurel Canyon, Lancashire area, that particular shop, I think. But I don't know. I don't know the stories.
Yeah,
I'd like
it's
to
all
be corrected
legendary.
on that. Legends. But yeah, really fun to work with that guy.
You from L.A. originally?
Born.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, born in born in La Jolla. My dad was in the Navy, but I never saw La Jolla. Raised in Covina, California.
Okay.
I lived here my whole life. Yeah, loved it. Loved it.
Yeah. I've been here 8 years myself.
There you go.
You told me this one in person, actually, whenever around the time when we first met. But you were filming Anaconda in South America somewhere. I forget the country. And you said that you took some medication to help with your immune system or something.
Okay.
And that made you go crazy for a couple days.
Okay.
Side effect or something.
Yeah, exactly. We're shooting in Brazil.
Okay.
On the Amazon. Where the Rio Negro and the Rio Salomon come together at the confluence in Manaus, Brazil. Our job was not the big giant snake, the big giant anaconda. Ours was like other snakes and other things, you know.
Okay.
So to go down there, the production thought it would be best that we all get, you know, properly inoculated, you know, hepatitis, all this stuff. And we went to this doctor in a little tiny back alley kind of doctor's office. It seemed like to me it was a very weird doctor's office, and got medication for malaria. Okay, this is a malaria. They call it a prophylactic for malaria to protect you. It's called Lariam. Okay. This pill you take. Take one a week. Every day you're there, plus 1 week before you get there. Okay. You take this. Okay. So a week before we're going down, I pop a pill. All right. Now they're flying us down there. We fly to Florida, then we fly to Brazil. And I remember clearly going, well, it's been a week. Here's my pill. I'm sitting in the plane and I go, bloop, and I pop the second pill. Great. I just took it. We go to production. We're in Brazil. They pick us up. They take us to the production office. We're in the production office. And the prop man, Terry, his name, he's also an entomologist, hands me this piece of paper. And he says, here, you might want to read this. And I look at it. Lariam. Side effects. 25% of all patients have psychotic reactions. May cause hallucinations. Death dreams.
Lucky me.
Death.
I go, ooh, this doesn't sound good. Now, the Lariam from the previous week is kicking in. And I'm sitting in the hotel, and the walls are going, you know, in and out a little bit. When I sleep at night, I'm having dreams like I'm hanging on the side of a cliff. Like, oh, my God. And I wake up going,
yeah,
you know, this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so, oh, my God. And I was getting anxiety, emotional, pissy, and it was not pretty. We would be sitting on the barge, and the script supervisor comes back to the back and starts crying. And we go, what's going on? And she goes, I don't know. And Bob Newton and I looked at each other and go, Larry's here. That's what we nicknamed Lariam. We nicked it Larry because it's Lariam. And it was just like I stopped taking that stuff immediately. I realized they told us that the mosquitoes, which are these blue and black striped mosquitoes, are the ones that transfer malaria. Well, we were on the Rio Negro, and the Rio Negro is so tannic with like tea, with leaf, like take a bunch of leaves from the jungle, run rain through it every day, and fill up this river. You can take your hand and put it down about 8 inches into the water, and like tea or coffee, you couldn't see your hand. They said that the water is so tannic that the insects, the mosquitoes, can't produce larvae there. Rio Salomon, the other hand, was not this way, and that's where it would happen. So we never had. I didn't get bit once, even though I had stuff on. So I stopped taking it. I said, Larry, you know, malaria, no malaria, forget it.
It was that bad, huh?
It was horrible. Yeah. It was horrible.
Did you have suicidal thoughts?
No.
Okay.
No. It didn't go that far.
Okay.
But oh my God, it was awful. But on that same trip, here's another great thing about how the Amazon is there to kill you. Just so you know, one way or another.
Another great story, kids.
I'm out there. We're working on top of this barge. It was a military barge that had 2 levels. It was hotter than hell, rained every day, humid. I had a heat rash that just wouldn't stop. Okay, I hate humidity. I could never live in Louisiana.
You're a California boy.
Oh yeah, I love this dry, wonderful air. You know, and it's warm.
Yeah.
I'm working on top. We're working on this effect where, who's the main guy? Mateo, I want you to go.
Oh, the older guy?
Vaughn.
Yeah, Vince Vaughn?
No.
Oh, no. I know you're talking
You know
about.
who it is.
God, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Robert Vaughn, whatever.
Yeah.
We had a big skin that Bill Bryant, back to Bill Bryant and his magic plastic, made this snake skin that looked so much like snake skin out of sheet of plastic. And we had it so we could roll it out. Okay, we wanted to roll it out, and it rolls out. Two parts to this story. First part is to roll it out, we needed some lead, like fishing weights. We figure they're fishing. Everyone's fishing around here. We asked one of the guys in our broken Portuguese, hey, we need some weight, some lead. And we look in our book, lead. They go, no problem. Boat, off it goes. 20 minutes later, here it comes. Pulls up. The guy comes up. Okay, now listen, this is unbelievable. We couldn't believe it. Guy comes up with a car battery.
Okay.
Takes a machete, chops the end off of it.
Oh, shit.
Pours the sulfuric acid inside the car battery into the Amazon, and then opens it up, and inside, of course, is lead.
Yeah.
Boy, that's not a way I wanted to get any lead.
Yeah,
we were like, up, and it was too late. He had already chopped it up, poured it into the river. That's how they think of it. It's just, that's where you put it. So we did that, and we unrolled it. Well, while I was working on this effect, getting it to unroll properly, we had branches from the canopy coming in over the water, over our boat, and I brush up against one, and something stings the shit out of me on the arm. It's like, what the fuck, right by my elbow? What is that? And I look, and I'm thinking it's one of these ants. They have these ants down there that have shells as hard as pistachios.
Oh, man.
Okay, and I had a battle with one with a pair of needle nose pliers. Okay, I just barely won with it. But when I crunched it, that's how I knew it was like a pistachio shell. You know, I go, oh my God, these things are tough. I thought that stung me. I look through the leaves, I pull them back, and here is this 4-inch long, bright green with fuchsia stripes caterpillar with 2 little tangs on the back and a fluff ball on the front. Beautiful, beautiful thing. I go, oh my God, this thing stung me. And my arm is on fire. Oh my God, my arm's starting to swell. I run down off the boat. I go to this other boat. There's a medic there. I go, come with me. He doesn't speak any English. I go, that did that. He goes, fugo, kata fugo. And I go, yeah, that fucker stung me. And what he was saying is caterpillar of fire.
Oh.
So he threw it in a bottle, and we went to another boat, and here I have this sting mark. Right? And my arm is swelled up like Popeye, burning.
Great.
And finally, after about 2 hours, it goes down. It stops. But for the rest of the trip, I had a dime-size hole that was necrosing in my arm.
Great.
And the medic would sit there with a tool and scrape out the dead skin and then pack it for me every day. I could take the tip of my little finger and stick it in my arm. And I go, oh, well, and there's the scar today. But nonetheless, everything in that jungle will kill you.
It's crazy that they really wanted to go to the actual fucking Amazon for this. You know what I mean? They didn't want to fake it at all.
Well, they did. The second half of it was filmed right here at the Arboretum.
Oh, okay.
And you
That's
can
close,
see
huh?
it. Yeah, when you see the end of the movie, again, another movie, they filmed the first half there and the second half here, right?
And you can just tell the difference.
Oh, in a minute.
Yeah.
Look at the water. Look at the sky.
Yeah.
Okay, there's bright blue with big puffy clouds, and the water's like the Rio Negro water. Here it's kind of murky, and the sky is L.A. smoggy, and it was horrible. But yeah, same thing happened on that movie, I think. I don't know how it happened, but that happened. It was pretty interesting.
Shit just got too dangerous, or was it reshoots?
No, it was the whole ending sequence.
Oh,
the end sequence at the building, and the snake comes down, and the digital part, and all that. And that was filmed here. Yeah, they had snakes there that'll you know one bite you're dead. There's no fixing you.
Right.
They don't got nothing to make that better.
Right.
Yeah, danger on set. It can happen.
Medic.
Liability. Yeah, insurance will get that.
Medic, it is an emergency.
Insurance will get this.
Insurance will get it, yeah, of course. What's she saying?
Tropic Thunder? Oh, I got a Tropic Thunder story.
Yeah,
that's a good one. Which one? Wait, which one, honey? Oh, right, the insurance to pay for the actor. But I do have a story for Tropic Thunder that's really, really good. I worked for Robert Devine, and he had to do the panda sequence for Tropic Thunder.
Okay.
Okay. So we have to take the panda down to show to Ben Stiller and get his approval. So we take it down, we do the demo, blah, blah, blah. And you didn't see it as much as we, wanted you to.
Right.
Of course.
That's always the case, right?
But that's not the point. We're on a stage. They had filmed in Hawaii. I met some camera operators there. They said, oh, my God, this show went on and on and on because it rained every day.
Oh.
Things you can't plan on.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If you look in almost all the scenes, they're kind of wet scenes. You could tell they're overcast days. They had to wait for their days.
Right.
So there's a lot of rain. Everything's wet. That wasn't wet down. That's nature.
Right.
So we're on a stage. This was the stage where the compound, interior shots of the compound, and also the bamboo jungle where he finds the panda bear. Mm-hmm. So we're all standing out in front of there. We're showing it to Ben. Ben's standing there. And Ben goes, hey, man, I want to introduce you to my friend. Mm. And here's this standing next to Ben, this black guy. Mm-hmm. I go, oh, that's cool. Hey, nice to meet you. He goes, this is my friend Robert. Mm. And I go, nice to meet you. He goes, huh, nice to meet you. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know the story.
Right.
I have no idea. It's Robert Downey Jr.
Right.
Until I go and actually to the theater and watch the movie.
Oh, shit. You had no
and
idea.
I had no idea that he's playing a black guy who's playing a white guy playing a black guy in the movie. Yeah. And I go, holy fuck, that was Robert Downey Jr. I'm standing. Now, this is credit to Rick and Kazu and all those guys.
Oh, Kazu did that?
I believe he did. I'm standing closer than this. I am shaking the hands with Robert Downey Jr. as a black man, thinking I'm shaking hands with a black man. It was awesome.
Yeah, that's cool.
How good it was. Mm-hmm. Beautiful. And I think Ben knew that. And he was just playing that on me. I'm going to trick the honky, trick the white guy, He doesn't know it's Robert Downey Jr.
He wanted to test it, maybe.
He did it. Make sure it's as good as it always was.
Right,
and
right.
100%. Amazing. That wasn't even on the script.
Yeah,
but see how this stuff comes up?
That was off script. Yeah. All the diving stuff, too, was off script.
Yeah, all off script.
A lot of that stuff. You have some Young Guns, too, Emilio Estevez, old age makeup stuff?
Absolutely. Working with Rick Lazzarini on Young Guns 2, Academy Award winner, Dave Anderson's key makeup on that. He's friends with Charlie Sheen and Emilio. He grew up with them, went to school with them, all right? So we do this makeup. I ran the foam for the pieces. I did all the hair work on that. That was my job. And then Rick wanted me to go and help assist do the makeup and do the hair. Okay, I go with him. It was great. We go all the way out to Alamogordo, New Mexico. It's Nowhereville. We're in the middle of nowhere. We have to get up at 2 a.m. to do the makeup. That's typical. I feel bad for makeup artists. They have their schedules. They get no turnaround.
Right.
They're the first ones there and the last ones to leave. Hats off to all makeup artists. Absolutely. You guys work your asses off. Mm-hmm. So we're there at 2 for a 6 o'clock call, 4-hour makeup. 2 o'clock, we're there in the hotel room, in the hotel doing a makeup. Where's Emilio?
2 a.m.
2 a.m.
Oh, man.
Where's Emilio? I don't know. Call his room? Yeah. Let's get the manager, open his room up. Open the room. Emilio's not there.
Oh, shit.
Where the fuck's Emilio? I know where he is, someone said. AD gets in a car, drives down into town. Mm-hmm. He was helping close out a bar.
Okay.
It's his day. He can do what he wants. He's Emilio.
Mm-hmm.
Bring him in. Emilio's in fine shape. We set him down. We set him down in the makeup chair.
Oh,
It wasn't a makeup chair. It's in a tall, studio chair.
Mm-hmm.
Hollywood. What are those? What are those called?
Oh, a makeup chair?
No, the ones that fold that everybody sits in. Director's chair.
Oh, yeah.
He's in a tall director's chair.
Yeah.
And he's fallen asleep because he's been out all night.
Mm-hmm.
So I tear a bed. We had beds. It's a hotel room. I tear a bed apart. I take the frame, I crisscross it, I duct tape it, and we tape it to the chair and we make a headrest and put 2 paper towel rolls on it so he can rest his head on it while they do the makeup. So Dave Anderson is there. Rick Lazzarini's doing the makeup. I'm doing the hair. And Emilio is sleeping while they're doing the makeup on him. Mm-hmm. Perfect. So, that's how you have to think in the film industry. Just so you know, kids, you got to make shit up, okay? if you're going to be an AD and you take a test to be an assistant director, one of the questions on the tests are, give me 10 uses for a paperclip that aren't holding two pieces of paper together.
Right.
My favorite would be unlocking the door to the director who locked himself in his trailer. Or whatever. But nonetheless, so we came up with things like tearing a bed apart, make a headrest out of it so Emilio can sleep while we do it. Emilio has this dog. His name is Rowdy.
Okay.
He is a Rhodesian Ridgeback. It's a lion hunting dog. Huge dog. This dog farts. Oh, my God. We're sitting in there. It's like, Rowdy! You'd hear him yell. It was amazing. And then we get in a van with Rowdy.
He's pissed drunk but still yelling at his dog.
He wakes up.
Okay.
He would wake up. He'd look at himself, go, Kabuki Theater. And then Rowdy would fart and he'd go, Rowdy! And then
Why would he say Kabuki Theater?
it looked like a Kabuki makeup when we first did it. He would pull the sides out. And I don't know.
He was just
In the moment.
He was just in fine shape.
Yeah, he was in fine shape. It's
okay.
And then, you go back to sleep. We finish the makeup. Absolutely great. Go out to the set and shot that. It was really neat. Good story. He gave us all a silver badge, like a sheriff badge.
Oh.
And it was pure silver. It wasn't some kimchi thing that said, thank you very much, Emilio Estevez.
That's cool.
Everybody on the crew got one of those. Again, more swag we all got.
Yeah, right.
And they don't do that anymore. They just don't do that.
They just don't want to spend the money?
No. You get some neat stuff, but not like the old days.
Yeah, I kind of wish that they at least did cast and crew screenings.
Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
It's kind of rough. I did one that was great for that was another Squad movie. Which one was that one? Gangster Squad.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really cool. They had a screening at a movie theater on the Warner Brothers lot. And if you go to the Warner Brothers lot, there's a movie theater in one of their back lots. It's a real theater.
Right.
And it's so cool. You get to go to that. You're actually, hey, they film movies here and they show movies here.
Right.
So we went to there and saw that. So that was a cool one. That was recent.
Everyone said that was kind of a hellish shoot. Oh, also the Dark Knight Rises shooting happened, and they had to reshoot that last scene or something.
Really?
I remember that shooting, the actual gun shooting of the theater and the Dark Knight. When the Dark Knight Rises
shot it up?
Some guy came in and shot up the theater, calling himself the Joker. Like an actual real guy.
Oh my!
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The end scene of the original script was shot and everything. Was a literal shootout in a movie theater.
Oh, you're talking about the one in Colorado, where the guy shot up the theater of real people during that deal, and they all thought it was a stunt.
Yeah.
Oh no!
And then they reshot Gangster Squad, the end of it, totally way after because of the sensitivities towards that at the time.
Oh, I didn't know that. See?
Yeah. Apparently.
Yeah. That was cool. It's neat to see Sean Penn. No, just neat.
Yeah.
Cool. Very cool.
I actually didn't see it, Gangster Squad.
It was okay.
It was okay.
I didn't
Not
mind
great.
That wasn't like crazy.
You don't have to see it again.
No,
which is good the first time.
Yeah. Don't play full retard.
yeah, pretty much. Tropic Thunder.
Yeah. Never play full talk. And then I watch it on TV. I'm watching it on Comedy Central. Never play full special. What?
They
overdubbed special instead of retard or full tard.
Oh, really?
They wouldn't do it because it was just too,
sensitivities have changed.
Comedy Central is very sensitive.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. That's another conversation.
Okay. Yeah.
For another day.
Yeah.
Mom and Dad Saved the World. First RC head? What's going on with this?
That was
remote control head.
The first remote control head I ever built was for Tony Gardner.
You're just getting into animatronics at this time.
Well, I had already done the hand for Highway to Hell.
Okay.
And now I'm doing a head with Bill Sturgeon and a few other people. Dave Pennicus, I believe, was there. And we did these dogs and we did these fish characters. And that was really fun to do. We also did these mushroom characters for that. That was actually a very fun show. I thought that would be kind of cool. It was very kooky, very Dr. Seuss-ish, if you want to call it that.
Right.
Had that look and feel about it. And very fun, and it not so good, but I like it. Mm-hmm. And so that was my first RC puppet head. I did one of the fish, Bleak or Blub or whatever her name was, and the great thing was that it was a non-union movie, and we're working there, and then all of a sudden someone comes up and goes, "Well, what are you doing on this show?" And I said, "Well, I move that, I make that head move with these radios. I puppeteer that." And they go, "Oh, puppeteer. Well, you're going to be in the Screen Actors Guild."
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
That's not easy.
Thanks, Ronald Reagan.
Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever happened, I got in the guild in 1998.
Oh,
and
nice.
that was amazing. So, yeah, best thing that ever happened to me. I feel blessed. Absolutely love to make puppets. Love to do those things.
And
We're
that's-
not hardly
those
even talking about puppets. We're more talking about stories, aren't we?
Well, that's part of the story, though.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
By the way, the reason I said that is because Reagan was the one that, when he was the head of the Screen Actors Guild, he made puppeteers eligible to
Was it him?
enter. Yeah.
He's the one that did it because
Yeah.
producers hate him.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? You're going to tell me a puppeteer gets SAG?
Yeah.
That's
he's the
ridiculous.
one. Yeah, apparently so.
Thank you, Ronald Reagan.
Yeah. There's a lot of
Well,
puppeteers.
Mommy, that was wonderful. I think I'll make the puppeteers. I think he's gone crazy. No, before I go, I'm going to make the puppeteers part of the Screen Actors Guild.
His wife is laughing off mic here. That's hilarious. All right, this is one that I'm super interested in.
Uh-oh, probably have nothing.
Maybe.
Okay.
It's on your list, though.
Okay.
So, like we said before, born in 84. By the
Yeah.
time 90s come around, I'm 6, 7, 8. 96, I'm 6. I mean, 1990, I'm 6 years old.
Uh-huh.
And so on. So, Mortal Kombat becomes a huge thing around 92, 93, 94. That's my generation.
All right.
100%. So, you worked on the Goro for this, the four-armed guy?
I worked on one of the Goros for that.
Okay.
Which was, I think, very cool. It was for Tom and Alec Gillis over at ADI.
Mm-hmm.
And they were doing Santa Claus at the same time with
Tim Allen.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So we're doing Goro. They got this great Goro costume. I believe Tom, I don't know if Tom was one of the Goros, but I think he was. They had two of them. Well, maybe they had, I think they had three of them. One of them was an animatronic Goro. Oh, my God.
It's
very complicated.
Great, though.
Amazing.
I remember I loved it.
Amazing. Made by Dave Kinlan.
Mm-hmm.
And amazing. In a suit that had a telemetry suit that the puppeteer would wear. And, like, for instance, arms would slide into it.
Right.
And then whatever the actor did, whatever the puppeteer did, the Goro suit had these animatronic arms that would do it. And what's funny is Dave Kinlan would wear glasses. So every once in a while, the Goro character would be standing there, and it would reach up to its bridge of its nose with its fingers and push. And everybody goes, "What's it doing?" And it's like Dave's adjusting his glasses. And every time Dave would push his glasses up, Goro did the exact same thing. So whatever Dave was doing, he was in the suit.
That's
had
hilarious.
To stand still.
Yeah.
He had to stand still and be in the suit when he did his telemetry thing. Mine wasn't so complicated.
Yeah.
Mine was for free walking shots where you see
okay.
Goro walking around.
Yeah.
And I built a set of kinetic arms
Okay.
that were above the actor's arms. So
Yeah.
the head's high, the actor's arms are the lower's arms, which they were with the other Goro.
Mm-hmm.
And then the upper arms were kinetic, spring-loaded arms
Mm-hmm.
with torsion springs and what. And it worked out great. It seemed that whatever the lower arms would do, if you moved your body like to swing for a punch, the upper arms kinetically would follow.
Right.
And kinetics, this taught me what kinetics were. This show said, man, get as much movement as you can for free.
Yeah.
Because you can go, the mileage, it just go, go, go.
Uh-huh.
No cables connected, no nothing. And all the species stuff on species 1 and 2,
Yeah.
all those suits were kinetic suits.
Okay.
We basically had a neck and a head that sat on a kinetic suit, and if you moved the body and the arms were attached, it looked like it was moving itself. Same thing with the Goro. It's all kinetics. And that sold me that I'm going to try to build everything I possibly can with free movement. Anything I can get for free. I love rod puppets. I mean, RC's great. Sound hates it because it makes a little noise.
Oh, yeah.
Rods are great because digital goes, we can get rid of that, no problem.
Right.
It's great stuff. So, but that's all I did. I worked in the shop for Goro. I wasn't, again, on set.
You weren't on set. Okay.
Nope. The director that came in, I had never seen that young a director ever. It was like
really?
A young kid. And
Really?
I go, wow, that's amazing. How did he get that job? That's cool. Did he write it?
Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe.
Supposedly, it's loosely, or maybe not so loosely, based on Enter the Dragon, too. So
There you go.
I think that was actually part of its success, was that it was based on an already popular martial arts film, just with a four-armed dude in it this time.
There you go. And it goes perfect with the game. Marketing.
We were that generation, and we loved the fuck out of that movie. That it had a sequel, which was awful, but
you went and saw it anyways.
Oh, we saw it. It was a Mortal Kombat movie.
Yeah.
I remember thinking that until The Matrix came out, it had the best fighting out of any American movie I had seen at that point, in my opinion.
What do you think? I'm going to ask you this.
Yeah.
What do you think about the fighting? What's your favorite fighting movie? What would you say?
Oh, like martial arts movies? Well, Bloodsport or The Karate Kid.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Let's see. We're near the end here, huh? We already covered The Abyss.
Mm-hmm.
HBO Masters of Horror, the greatest lunch ever.
You know what? This is the perfect one to close on, too.
Yeah.
Okay? I don't even hardly remember what I was doing for Masters of Horror, but I was working with Stan Winston's group on that. We had something going on, some creature or something, and we shot up at Griffith Park. Now, unbeknownst to me, this is the last day of filming. And catering's always pretty good. The Army runs on its stomach, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we're filming. I'm filming this thing, and it's lunch. We break for lunch. We go down to the catering, and we go into the catering tent. And here is freaking prime rib. Here is steaks. Here is lobster. Here are oysters on the half shell. Here is shrimp. It is the most amazing meal I've ever seen in my life. And I go, and I said out loud, I go, wow, you guys eat like this every day? This is pretty damn good. It was the last day of filming, and the production was doing a really cool thing for the crew to give us a really nice meal.
So it was better than that Stephen King restaurant.
Oh. If Stephen King goes, okay, you go to Griffith Park and go to this tent.
Yeah.
That would have been office. I would have got my dream, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was fantastic. The greatest meal I ever had in my life. That was on set. That was it.
That's cool.
Very good. Yeah, you get it. You get something now and again. It's really cool.
Yeah, hey, Eric, I got one thing real quick.
He has a question for you.
Oh, yeah, hold on.
Okay.
I got a list
Sorry
of
about
it.
that, Joey. Yeah.
Fine.
What's up, Joey?
Hey, so Night of the Demons.
Night of the Demons. Oh, my God. Yeah, that was an interesting show. What do you want to know about it?
I didn't know if you had just a particular story,
Yeah, I do.
anything quick,
The lipstick
mix it up.
story. That was pretty
Okay.
amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Did you watch that movie?
Oh, I love it. It's
And
like
who?
Go ahead.
What's her name? The gal?
It's like hold on, I could find it like super quick. I actually
I know what the heck.
It's like Linda
Linnea
something.
Quigley. It's Linnea Quigley.
Yeah,
It's
I remember
Linnea
Quigley.
Yeah, it's one of Steve's wives. Steve married Linnea Quigley.
Steve Johnson.
Steve Johnson
Oh,
married
wow,
Linnea
okay.
Quigley one time after this show, for crying out loud. But we got to do, now again, another perk in our show, in our business is every once in a while you get to do live cast, right? Everybody's doing live cast. Sometimes in the live cast, whether it be male or female, you have to include their body parts.
Yes.
All of them.
I've been a part of these processes.
Of course, and it can be uncomfortable, whatever.
Yeah.
And hopefully it's all good. But we did a live cast of Linnea Quigley because in that particular movie, they had to do a lipstick. She was like, she's under a spell, and she's like in a Halloween costume, and she's painting lipstick all over her face, and then she goes down her cheek and down her neck, and then around her boob and areola, and then she pushes ever so slowly the lipstick into her breast and pulls her finger out and it's gone. Magic.
Yeah.
That's where the magic trick comes in. We do magic. So we made for that a telescoping lipstick tube that worked.
Okay.
Lipstick, and we made a live cast of her, and we'd call it the old, half body trick, we call it, where your neck is the real neck, neck up is the actress, arms of the actress, and then you're wearing an appliance on front of you, that's kind of away from your body, so you can push stuff into it. And so that's how we did that. But Steve Johnson and Linnea, then after that show, became amorously involved, and then they got married, and then they didn't anymore. But that's it.
That lipstick gag can only go so far. I
Joey,
guess.
you got any other cool ideas? What are you thinking about?
Okay.
I got stories.
Let's see. Friday the 13th, or I keep saying Friday the 13th. Nightmare on Elm Street 4.
Nightmare. Oh, that's a good one. Good for you. Nightmare on Elm Street 4. This is
We're still good. It's just
Freddy. Let's see. Freddy has a bunch of little Freddys inside of him, tearing him apart. That's the sequence we did. We had a face that mounted on him. We made little puppets that would hook onto the Freddy under his sweater and grab at him. You may remember those. But one thing we did that was pretty cool, and Linnea Quigley was in this, we did this giant upper torso of Freddy with dental dam on the front of it, big sheet of rubber. And people would stand behind it and press out through the rubber like their souls trying to get out of Freddy. Remember that scene?
I remember that scene. I remember seeing like behind the scenes like years ago on TV.
Cool. So here's the funny part about that scene. We built that big thing out of fiberglass. We got a giant Freddy sweater, which was really cool. I mean, it's a 12-foot tall Freddy sweater.
Sure.
That fit onto this big chest prop. And on top of it, up on a scaffold, was this little Japanese lady, Michiko Tagawa. And I used to call her the Japanese witch because she seemed like she was 1,000 years old, but she just seemed, but she was also very current. She was very funny.
Yeah.
Hello, Eric, that she'd do something, that Tom, he make me so mad. Things like that she would say. I'd go, come on, Michiko. So, but nonetheless, she was a great foam fabricator, probably one of the best foam fabricators ever. And she worked on the show. Well, she was running the neck of that puppet. And she'd have a big handle, and she was moving it back and forth. Well, what happened is everybody got onto the rig who was going to be in the front of it and push on it. And she's sitting there holding on to the neck. What they didn't do was counterweight the base of it. So everybody started pushing on the front of this into the dental dam, trying to do this soul effect, and the thing starts going over. Okay, this is like a 12, 14-foot tall upper torso. It's starting to fall forward. Here it goes. Michiko doesn't let go. She rides the thing down like a bucking bronco. She goes all the way down. We thought, oh, my God, this old lady's going to die. She goes down, and she rolls like a kung fu roll, karate roll out of it. And it's like, oh, a little dazed, stands up, brushes herself off, says, oh, that was crazy. It was weird. Everybody thought, oh, we lost one. Here it is. We're going to be in the papers.
Yeah.
We killed this Japanese lady. But she was
that
fine.
was fun.
Yeah, that was fun. That was something like that. It was really funny. Yeah. That was over in Valencia. We shot that. That was great.
Nice.
Anything
That's
else?
awesome.
I'll do one more.
Okay.
Return of the Living Dead 3.
I worked for Kenny Myers on that. And I got to do all kinds of stuff. That was cool. We worked literally out in the Newhall area in his barn. And he had about 10, 15 people in there. And we built all the skeletons and a bunch of makeups for that. And it was basically garage shop work. And, Kenny Myers, great makeup artist. And he and his wife now, she did all the hair. We did all the makeup, did it right there. I remember we shot that in Sierra Madre, but I don't remember too many details about that.
Okay.
Cool.
Great.
Very good.
Sweet,
you.
man. That's awesome, man. Well, thanks for doing this. This has been great.
Good. I'm glad it worked out. I'm glad it kind of warmed up and just went on its way.
Yeah, we with this one we wanted to. I mean, you did kind of type out a whole list here, but we wanted to kind of go away from our normal format and be a little looser and, a
little spontaneous.
Yeah, a little more spontaneous with this
touch
one.
on other notes rather than the
I have a full list of questions, but I just wanted to not do that this time.
Great.
You know, so
I think it's wonderful. I hope I did good for you.
it was great.
Awesome.
It was
Thanks
great.
for having me, man.
Yeah, thank
this
you.
is really nice.
All right, this is Andrew signing off.
This is Joey. See you later.
This is Stefan from the Superhouse Podcast. Be sure to check us out on Patreon, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and any other godforsaken social media outlet that we should be floating on.
We are basically on all social media.
Yeah, all social media.
Mainly Facebook and Twitter and Patreon.
Check out the links in the description.
We have a lot of cool goals set up on our Patreon. Like if you donate $1, you'll be able to give us a topic for us to talk about. And we'll talk about for maybe an hour or more. Who knows how long it'll take.
And that's pretty tight.
That's the coolest thing.
Wait, we're on the internet?
That's pretty good. If you
And we can make money.
What?
If you donate $1,000, you get full frontal nudes.
We haven't set that up, but it's a possibility. You give us $1,000, who knows what'll happen.
Check us out.
I'll do that. I'll do that.
You get to go on a date with one of us for $10,000.
But you pay for everything.
You get to have your way with Maddie for $20,000.
For $1 million, I'll give you Joey for a weekend.
For $30,000, we'll help you hide a body. Check out our Patreon.
SuperHouse Gigolo Project.
2018.
Links in the description.